All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for episode 6 of the Broken Knock podcast. I'm one of your hosts and owner of Creek Archery, Chris DePerna. Also, I have along with me my co-hosts here. One of them, Miss Megan DePerna. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Had a great day today. It was exciting, fun.
Yeah.
Had a blast. Also, Mr. Ken Reese along with us today. How are you, sir?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good one. This is exciting for us. We got 2 awesome guests with us today. This guy here right to my right, many of you guys will know him from the Outdoor Call Radio. I know him from bothering me about my fantasy football all the time. And probably the majority of you will know him from Respect the Game TV, Mr. Dan Young. How are you doing?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. Good to be here. Beautiful Yukon, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming out. It was an awesome week, and we're going to get into that and talk about everything. But yeah, it was cool. For you guys, you're coming out from Des Moines, Iowa, and hanging out with us. And
Yeah. I saw that deal on CEO, and I just said I have to get a hold of that and get that hunt booked, and it was a good time.
Here we go already. yeah, Closed Eye Outfitters.
Closed
We
Eyes
got you.
Outfitters. Yeah. When you leave, after you're done hunting with us, you're going to leave refreshed.
Well, I hope you feel refreshed now, because we know you didn't kill nothing. 'Cause
I didn't kill. I killed time.
Also along with us today, one of Mr. Dan Young's good buddies that I don't know how this gentleman puts up with Dan. He has for, I believe, about 20 years now. Also the owner of Gearhead Archery, and which is one of Dan's partners, Mr. Skip Peterson. Skip, thank you for joining us, buddy.
All right. Yeah, happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Made the drive.
Yes, you did, and
know?
we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We really do.
Rolled in at 2:30 in the morning.
Skip came all the way from Wisconsin.
Came all the way from Ontario. He stopped off to get his change of clothes and get out here.
And pack the
Yeah.
bows. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't
Wow.
realize that.
He
Yeah.
was bear hunting.
Yeah. We'll have to get into that. But, man, I feel honored. That's a hell of a drive to come to Pennsylvania here to a little town of Yukon.
I've been on tour the month of May. It's kind of felt like you've been on tour. I went to Montana and home, Wyoming and home, Ontario and home, and now I'm in Pennsylvania, and tomorrow I'll be heading home.
There you go.
Four trips.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate it. For those of you that might be watching or listening, we had our open house here at Creek Archery today. So we knew Dan was going to be here in town doing some turkey hunting with Rupert's Roost in Peace turkey calls, and spent some time at camp with those guys and Larry McCoy and Ryan Hoyser. I think I got that right this
Congrats,
time.
you
I think
said
so.
it
That
right.
sounds.
I messed
That
it up.
sounds
before.
right.
Does it
Yeah.
sound right? I
Yeah.
hope, Ryan, if you're listening, I hope I got it right, buddy. And then also Mr. Paul Hunter Biggs. So it was nice to get to hang out with you guys there. And then once camp was over, we had our open house here today. So Dan had introduced me to Mr. Peterson here, and we talked and was able to get him to graciously come out for the open house and bring his products out for the guys to shoot. And I think it went pretty well.
Had a lot of good comments. That's the thing about Skip's. Archery is such a personal thing. And everybody gets into a pattern. And, I've always told everybody, even on the shows, the most important thing about archery is consistency. You want to be able to make sure you're consistently able to draw your bow back, hit your anchor point, and squeeze that trigger and follow through. And if you can do that, you can be a great accomplished archer or bow hunter. But it's got to feel right for you.
Right.
And, that's one of the things that, Skip puts his heart and soul into that company, him and his beautiful wife and Gracie. The
Gracie
mascot.
the dog.
Gracie the
dog.
mascot.
You got to have the dogs involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a podcast here with Mike Moran from Numa Gear, one of our sponsors, and his dog came with him, Solly, and
Just
Solly
walking
was
around.
just
all
walking
over
around
the
the set
place.
and knocking stuff over, having a good old time.
Yeah, putting her nose in
So the
stuff.
dogs are important.
Yes,
Well,
they are.
the dog before Gracie was Jack. So like I tell people, it's like if you don't know Gearhead, you don't know Jack.
That's
great.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
That's funny.
So,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you guys coming out. I guess probably the first thing we should do, with being lucky to have you both here at the same time, is let us know. We like to dig back into the roots of of our guests, and How did you and Skip meet up?
Well, I've been doing radio since 1998, so I've been on the air 26 years, and out of that came Outdoors Traditions TV. Jeff Jorgensen and I started that show, and we were on 20 years. We had a really good run on Fox Sports Midwest and Carbon TV, and I can't remember the Hunt Channel, and one of my earlier, we bow hunted everything, so we had to do 26 hunts per year, or hunting segments. And I got a hold of Pat and Reeves, I've known Pat for a long time, really good guy. And I said, hey, I need to get some Western hunts done to get some diversity on the show. And he goes, well, he called Mike Watkins, Trophies Plus Outfitters in Alzana, Montana. So I called Mike, and Mike was really gracious. And he goes, yeah, come on out. And I had a chance, and I was out there, and Mike told me that there was going to be a guy named Skip out there, or Skippy.
Yeah.
It's probably Skippy, I think is what he called you. And he goes, he'll help you if you need help. Because I self-film 95% of my hunts.
That's so hard. I know.
It's not by choice, trust me. It's just on a budget. Right. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I said, that's great. And I got out there and I met Skip. And you were making the camera arms then, weren't you?
Yeah, I still actually dabble in that a little bit.
He
we
flat
got to
out,
talk about that later.
Yeah,
Skip.
he flat out, and to this day, had one of the best camera arms I've ever seen in my life. I begged him when we were out there. He lugged me around those coulees and switchbacks all week. And I said, man, what do I got to do to get one of them camera arms? And he couldn't keep up with his orders, you know. But
they were like $600
yeah.
too. It wasn't like they were the cheap ones. But
that was 20 years ago.
It was, but back then the cameras were like 20 to 30 pounds.
That's
So
true.
you needed to have this huge base that could support a heavy camera, and when you got out there, it didn't jiggle. So you had to have all the joints had to be just perfect,
no noise.
Right.
Yeah, I mean everything was just so well engineered, and so I sat there and was coveting his camera arm all week. And we just had a hell of a hunt. I think that was my first time out west. I think it was.
It could have been.
Yeah, and we were whitetail hunting, and Skip Mike had us set up on some alfalfa fields, and we set out. We had turkeys around. I could have shot 1,000 turkeys
For sure.
I mean, I had turkeys around me every day. It was crazy. And
At one point, you told me to stop filming turkeys.
I did. I said we got more than enough turkey footage, man. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, it was crazy, but the deer weren't coming out, and I said, man, something has got to change. So I think we just kind of started walking around looking or driving or.
Well, we went to this new property that was part of the additional property we were on, and as we're driving down in there were deer all over, and they were just feeding heavily on the acorns.
Scrub oaks.
And at that point, we're just like, we need to get where the food source is. So we had tree stands, and I actually put the stand up. You were out there pointing, and I'm there hanging off branches.
Oh, he was doing his Tarzan.
And later, Mike tells me, goes, Skip, you should really be wearing a harness for stuff like that. But it was almost like a circus act up there, the way I was hanging stuff. But
and I think we actually saw the deer we shot, didn't we?
That morning, after we had the stand in, when we were driving in, we saw that buck.
Yeah. And
you're like, well, that's a nice buck. And then we got in the stand position, and it was like 2 hours later, that same buck comes down that drainage, and you smoked him. I mean, he took the fire hydrant shot. You took everything right off the top of the heart.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I gave him a big old hug. He's a good guy. That was probably one of the best things in my career was when I got to meet Skippy.
Yeah.
We've been buddies ever since.
But the thing of it was, we hunted the whole week, and then finally it was his last day. We already, a lot of times people say, well, I got my buck on the last day. Well, that was because that was the day that you hunted. You killed him. It was your last day. But we literally said this is the last day before we went in, and we got to the spot, and Dad's like, Skip, you mind if I pray? So then he actually prayed. And then he shot his buck. And then after we got the buck, I'm like, Dan, why didn't you pray the first day?
But you wait so long for, Dan.
I got a hard time asking the big guy for, there's so many more important things. But I was wore out. It all worked out. So.
Oh, yeah, it's raining out there pretty good. You
Oh
can hear
my
coming
God,
off our
it's
metal
raining
roof, and
hard.
it's pounding down. So
Cool.
But Yeah. So then you guys, that's been how many years ago now, roughly?
Well, it's 2006, I think.
Oh, okay.
2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you decide you wanted to get into hunting and filming and what you do with the radio shows and all that? How long ago was that?
Oh gosh, that was 34, 35 years ago. I picked up a compound bow, and my family I picked up that bow and it ruined me. I just knew there was something about holding that bow, that riser in my hand, and I just that's all I did. I mean, I shot every day. I went and learned everything I could about setting a bow up. I read Bow Hunter magazine, Peterson's bow hunting. I mean, everything I got in there, and it just consumed me. And I just knew, I don't know, it's like I know that I'm supposed to be doing something with this, and it just kind of took off for that. And after I got into bow hunting a few years, and I was switching careers and trying to figure out what I was going to do, how to make a living, and I got a job at a small market radio station and took a job as a marketing and salesperson. And I was there like 3-4 weeks, and I talked to the guy. I said, "Hey, I want to do a hunting show, radio program." He goes, "I'll tell you what, give you half hour on a Sunday night. You go find 6 sponsors, and we'll let you try it out." And by the end of the week, I had 6 sponsors, and I've been on the air for 26 years.
Nice.
Wow.
Do you think that he thought you were going to find 6 sponsors?
It's hard to say. I just kind of bird dogged it and did it, and I had a game warden that was my co-host, and
Oh, nice.
he was awesome. And I remember the first show, I had to learn how to run the boards and everything and host the show, and I hit that on air button, and I got mic fright, and I just sat there, and Gordon goes, "Are you going to talk or not?" And I was all right after that. I just started, but I'll always be grateful for him for that.
So that's where your beginnings come from. Skip, how about you? How'd you get into this industry?
Well, my background is machining, so fresh out of high school, I got into the machine shop type thing, and I basically always worked for businesses that made a product. It wasn't like job shops. It's like I always liked the idea of taking a raw piece of material and take away the materials you don't need to produce a product that actually makes something. So that was kind of what it was. But as a kid, I was always into hunting. My dad hunted and grew up in that hunting family where you get together for Christmas and everyone's got stories to tell, and it just kind of sits and resonates with you. It's like, this sounds like magical land that you get to see this. And I even like some of the things, like nowadays everyone's taking their kids to the woods at a very young age. My parents didn't let me go to the woods until I was 12 years old. And I remember being like 8, 9, and Dad would be out hunting, and I was like bouncing off the walls. I was like, "Ma, you think you got one? You know what? You think you'll see anything?" And I was probably driving her nuts, And then, my dad wasn't really successful, but every time he came home, he had these really cool stories of muskrats swimming down the creek, or a doe that would come and get really close to him, and fawns. And it's just like, it just made it feel like it was this magical land that you just got to see all these really cool encounters with wildlife. And it just really kind of, it planted the seed that just became a burning desire to get into this and do it, and
Right.
And as a machinist, I would see different products and stuff that was being out there, and it's like, well, I would like it better this way, or hey, what if you did this, or you just, so I was always kind of looking at different things that I could do. And that was another thing where Dan and I, I made tree arms I also had a relationship with Pat Reeve, and he's like, "Skip, you should make a tree arm because the market doesn't have what I need." So he would actually tell me what he would like to see in a tree arm, and he would do these educational things for if you want to be a better cameraman. So I would go to those, and I would ask the camera people, "What would you like to see in a tree arm?" So I would actually produce what they would like. And I also too, like, Dan helps me promote a photo fan, where I took my godson turkey hunting and he killed this beautiful bird, and I'm laying down trying to get pictures, and every time I get the fanned out, he lets go, and so I went back to the machine shop, and I realized that quills are like straws; they compress. So I machined a bracket that you could actually pop the quills into, and it'd make it a full fan. So whenever I take people hunting, I'd snap it onto the quills, and then I didn't have to worry about.
Neat.
Oh, it's
That's
awesome.
I didn't want them to
Wow.
hold it, so I was always thinking about different things that I could do or make products and stuff like that. So it was just being the machinist and having these abilities. It just allowed me to really try to find different things that would kind of get me into the outdoor industry.
That's
Nice.
slick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
cool.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
cool product there. So you're still dabbling in the camera arms some, or?
There's another guy I made friends with doing the different shows and that's Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline.
Yeah.
So we made a fast friendship, and we actually designed some different tree arms and that worked off like bungee systems and stuff like that. We called it Skip J camera arms. So we had the Skip for mine and then J for Jared, and he just like, Skip, I said, but you're using my name more than yours. He goes, I like the way it sounds. So he just went Skip J camera arms.
Yeah.
And he changed the way that he started videoing. He didn't do camera arm stuff so much. He was more on the ground running and gunning, and he had this other contraption the harness that would fit on him. And he just kind of changed the way that he did things. And I still have probably enough to do probably 150 of them. I got the parts in that machined in that, but I just, now that I'm doing the gearhead thing, I really don't have time, but I do have a tree arm that I could probably put on the market that's like 2 pounds, and it extends, and it just,
Yeah, it's something you should probably think about doing.
yeah, the thing about a bungee is when you're holding it, like if a deer goes this way and there's a limb coming out, you can push it all the way down, and you got total
Yeah.
control
Oh, that's
over what
okay.
you're filming. In a normal tree arm, all the movement is back and forth this way. With the bungee, you can actually make these really cool transition type shots.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I had bought a camera arm before that I used, and I'd since sold it when I got out of the filming, and I wish I didn't now that we're back into it. But I had one. It was a company. I think they called that a 0360.
Yeah.
And it came from overhead and down. It had, like a hydraulic cylinder on it. But you could move that thing anywhere. And that's what I loved is if I could just shove it out of my way.
Right.
And it was.
That was made by Out on a Limb.
Yes.
Yeah.
By
yes.
Matt Garrett's.
Yes, Matt. That's who. Yep.
And now he's into the saddle hunting type stuff. So he's totally. It's amazing how everyone in this industry is kind of connected,
Yes.
and it's just like, because I remember his 360, and Jason Bisbee was kind of working with him, and it's just everyone's always trying to find a new niche or a new avenue in.
Yeah, I mean, it was, that one that I bought from, I loved it. It was a little heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, the brackets were heavy. But for a self-filmer, it was just like the best for me because I can put it anywhere I wanted it and leave it there and, be able to get a shot off with it. So that's what I liked about that. But, I know we're going to be looking for some new stuff, so we're going to have to talk about that
All
and see
right.
what
The
you
weight.
got. I mean,
Yeah.
The weight is huge. The weight is
Yeah.
a huge factor too, because not only are you carrying if you're doing hanging hunts, but you've got the weight of all your camera equipment too. So
Right.
you get a lighter arm. That's shaving a lot of weight off of what you're
Absolutely.
carrying into the woods.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So outside of them, then, when did the gearhead bows come into play?
So with the photo fan thing that I made for the turkey bracket, the other part of our business is we make robotic equipment for the window industry. So like some of our equipment will make a window every 15 seconds. So that's kind of what we did. So I was the prototype machinist behind a lot of that equipment. Well, my boss was looking for a new place to start a new company to transfer, and he went to all over, like near Yellowstone, and he was trying to get out west. He actually ended up settling in Buffalo, Wyoming, and then he had some different window ideas, so I actually went out there to help him with patenting and coming up with this new process and that. And of course, when you're in Buffalo, Wyoming, you're going to go hunting.
Right.
And we got just really tired of walking in 4 or 5 miles with these big, heavy bows. And so basically, he saw what I did with the photo fan. We went out for ribs. There's a big package of napkins, and we just started sketching what we wanted to see in a bow. And I know it's a little cliche, but we literally, he's like, okay, we don't want crossover cables. We don't want this. And I said, tell you what, I said, I'll machine whatever you produce, and I'll give you eight models. And within the course of a year, we had like 14 different bow models, and we went from one to the other.
Wow.
But then we didn't have a bow company, so we went around and pitched our ideas to like Bowtech and Matthews and Barnett, and we basically went all over, Darton, So now I did a presentation in front of Bayer, so all these people kind of know who we are in that. The general consumers don't have any idea who we are, but that was back in 2008. And then Paul ended up selling, I think it was like 17 different patents. He packaged it together, and he sold it to one of the major players. And I'm still waiting for some of the stuff to come out. I check every now and then. I can tell they're doing a little bit they're adding more claims and stuff. So there's certain things that they'll probably come out with. But then in 2015, we designed the current bow that you see in Gearhead that you see now. It was a 18-inch bow. And at that point, we just loved the way that it shot, and we just said, you know what? Instead of selling it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And we're in year 10, and we've gone from an 18-inch bow axle, and we can make all the way up to a 40 now, and we've added crossbows and slingshots, and we have a whole host of different products.
Yeah, that crossbow you showed me earlier. I mean, that thing was, I couldn't believe how light it was when you handed that to me.
It was quiet too.
Yeah.
I mean, we were right across the room for you doing our shooting with the recurves, and they're shooting crossbows. It sounded like the recurves.
Yeah, that thing just shoots a standard arrow.
It does, and then that's what we're trying to do is to make a crossbow that shoots more like a bow than, basically a crossbow once it's cocked is just an explosion waiting to go off. And
you ain't telling me. I got a bunch of those in the back room right now.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. So we're and the thing is too, people pushing the speed. I mean, ours is 375, but I want something that I don't have problems with. It's maintenance free. It shoots good. You get good cable life, string life, and there's no problems. Yeah. Because you don't want problems when you're going hunting.
Yeah. I say the exact same thing here. I don't want to sell a product if it's going to cause me headaches and my customers.
We were talking about that while you were gone getting the pizza earlier. He's like, yeah, you guys repair a lot of crossbows here.
Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. I'm gonna tell I don't care what brand. They all break. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
I had one dealer tell me, goes, Skip, there's two type of crossbows, those that are broken and those that are not broken yet.
I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
So that's good. So you've been at that for quite some time.
We have. And then in October of 2022, our investors wanted me to find a buyer for Gearhead. So in October 2022, my wife and I bought Gearhead from the investor.
Nice.
So it's just ours now. It's our baby.
There you go.
To either make it flourish or fail. It's all on us.
Well, you got Mr. Dan Young here helping you. So
that's right. You had your whole lineup across that table, and everybody was walking around.
Yeah, you had people over there all day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, everybody was shooting the bows, and it was nice.
And most of their comments are the same too. They're like, well, this doesn't shoot like I thought it was going to shoot. There's a lot of that where like, well, what did you expect? He goes, I don't know, but it shoots really good. It's like a regular bow. And I go, I go, exactly.
It is a regular bow.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty neat. You can take an 18-inch bow and make it shoot for a guy with I'm 29.5-inch draw.
Yeah.
I would never think of. I'm like, an 18-inch bow. Like, how can I shoot that thing?
It's got bigger cams.
Yeah,
and as
right.
the cams unwind, it gives you the string that you need to shoot.
Yeah, and I know another important thing. Like when we have customers come in here all the time, and they'll ask me, well, what bow should I buy? And I tell them, shoot everything. See, go with what fits you. Don't go with the brand, because they're all good.
Right,
I mean,
correct.
Everybody makes a great bow. You just got to go with what you like. But and one of the things I always, maybe not preach to them, but always tell them, pay attention to the grip. How that feels in your hand. And what's pretty cool is you guys have different options on that.
We do. Yeah, we have like 6 different grip options. You can go with a 1911. You can go with a flat back or a slider, or there's literally, the one thing I've learned about archery is everyone likes something different. There's no one size fits all. What might be good for one is not good for the other, and we just try to create a product that adjusts to the way that you want to shoot. Like even our cams, you got 3 different draw cycles to choose from, and you can change your draw length in 1/2-inch increments without the use of a press. And then with the grip, with the slider grip, you can move your grip forward or back or left to right. You can kind of kind of just dial in the way that you want the bow to shoot.
Right, because one bow fits right-handed shooters and
And
left-handed
left-handed
Right.
shooters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I thought was
yeah,
cool.
we were telling
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
while you were
Yeah.
gone.
yeah. Dan
Yeah.
was showing me that. He was showing me he had his bow out. We were
Yeah.
checking.
Yeah,
it out.
that's pretty cool. I mean, it's
Well, it's good for shop owners because
Yeah.
you don't have to carry all different. I mean, I don't know how many times I've had listeners call the show and say, "Man, I tried to get a left-handed bow, I can't find them," and
Well,
with
how
gear-
often
it happened to me
people
again
come in
today.
here all the time
gear,
looking for 'em.
Gearhead, you said you like that bow? It's a right-handed bow. Well, give me some 20 minutes, and
Yeah, about 20
we'll make
minutes.
it a left-handed bow.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's
Which is-
pretty awesome.
Well, it's good for you guys as a shop owner because it helps you serve more clients or
Right.
customers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The left-handed guys always tell me that they're actually the ones that are right, not wrong. And they, but they're always the ones that have to wait.
Yeah.
Anytime a new bow's released, it seems like every manufacturer puts the right-handed models out first.
And sometimes, I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes the left-handed bows tune harder than the right-handed bows. You guys seen
I've
that
heard the
experience?
guys talking about it in the
we've
back.
Had,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, like a lot of that, I think the risers and how they're produced and machined in that, they're machined for like more right-handed. So when you go to left-handed, the characteristics of the risers not wanting to, go
Right,
with,
to rotate,
go with the left side. You
Yeah.
know, so
yeah, it makes sense. I can
So-
see where that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so back to the TV side of things for you. When did you? So your first show you were doing, you said
Outdoors Traditions.
Outdoors Traditions, and then when we had hooked up with you, that was what 2016, and I'm trying to remember the year that
At
was at ATA. Yeah, what's
2016? Are you kidding? What is it? 2024?
yeah? Well, I guess it would have been. It's been a while, but
it was right before COVID.
okay. So
19 or 20.
2019.
Look up the date of the scooter video.
Oh yeah, I can look up the scooter video with old Larry Mack and Christian Costa.
Yeah, because this is I think I've been with Larry 4 years.
So that's what I was going to ask you is with respect to Game TV, when did you jump on board with those? guys?
Well, I just I had, like I said, Outdoors Traditions TV, we were on for 20 years, and I was never home. I mean, 26 bow hunts to air is a ton,
It
and
sure
we
is.
bow hunted
Yeah, it is.
everything. Matthews was with me for 18 years, and then there was their marketing change, and then so I called Philip, and Philip had said, "Man, we got to get you shooting an elite," and I said, "Well, I'm pretty, I don't switch unless there's something that happens, or that's one of the things I've always remember who brought me to the dance.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And so something happened, and I called Philip, and I went to Shields, and I shot every elite that they had, and then I shot every Bowtech that they had. I shot every dart, and I shot, I don't know,
Probably everything.
but that elite, there was an elite. Gosh, what was it? It was the 30. I can't even remember the model name now.
like
But
the Synergy or
no,
something.
it wasn't a Synergy. It
No.
was
Well, the guys Friday night were talking about the 35.
wasn't the 35. No, this was 4 years ago. It was anyway. It was the bow I really felt the most comfortable with.
I'm trying to think.
So
There was Omnias, Encores. There
It
was a
for-
Ritual.
It was for then. Yeah. I can't remember. Anyway. So I called Christian Costa, who was doing the marketing, and said, "Hey, I went and shot all the bows, and I'm pretty happy with the way yours feels." And he goes, "We'd love to have you." And I worked out a deal, and then I started promoting them on the radio. And then when I got ready to stop Outdoors Traditions, I called Larry and I said, "How about if you want an old man to come over for a few years, and I'll bring some partners with me?" And he goes, "Come on."
Yeah.
Come
Now,
on.
he probably said it exactly like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Larry and Ryan and Paul. They're good buddies, and
Yeah.
we hunt together. They hunt with me in Iowa on the lease, and they're just family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great guys. I know,
Yeah.
when we got to spend that evening there Friday with you guys up there at Turkey Camp,
Mm-hmm.
and, we got to sit down and obviously do a podcast with those three.
Yeah.
We did invite Dan, but Dan was pretty whooped. He was,
It wasn't that. I just,
He was
it's hard to
in peanut
get.
heaven.
It's hard to get all three of those guys. I'm on the radio. I'm every day. I'm on the air pretty much, and there comes a time where I just want to sit back and
Yeah.
be quiet.
You said you were on vacation.
Skip, do you believe that?
Not at all.
I was going to say.
It was nice for them to have time to let them tell their stories and stuff. I get sick of hearing me. But
No, that was that was cool that we got to do that and sit down with those guys. But
That was
so how long have you and Larry, been buddies and that? Yeah, I guess you've known him for quite some time
I've
as
known
well.
Larry probably 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been really good. I've learned a lot from Larry and Philip Vanderpool and I have been buddies for 25 years. I worked with Philip. I was on the field staff at HS Hunter Specialties and for a long time. And Dave and Carmen Forbes were really good to me on the radio side. And Philip and I always got along. That's where I met Pat Reeves. And yeah, good people. But I think Philip and I have been buddies probably the longest as far as TV celebs and stuff. And that old biscuit eater.
He's such a great guy.
I'll tell you, Dan, I was out there in the stand this morning, and that fog started to clear off of that winter wheat, and that old sad daddy came off that ridge. I almost dropped him, Dan, but he just needed that one more year. And I can sit there. I talk like that all the time. I tease him all the time. I'm just telling you, man, that was just a biscuit on the gravy right there. But Philip is honestly probably one of the best bow hunters I've ever met. He doesn't get enough credit. He really doesn't.
He's a legend. And, he's been.
He
at
just
it
got
for
voted
so
in the
long.
hall. He just got inducted in the Hunting Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He deserves it.
Yeah,
He really
we're
does.
gonna reach out to him, and I got his number, and I'm gonna get him on here with us some point.
Yeah,
too. He's
well,
such a fun guy.
I just called Philip because
You did?
Yeah, I'm trying to get Philip shooting a gearhead, and he goes, "I'll call him." And he just got back from Mexico. He was down there filming turkey hunts, and I said, "I'm sitting here with Skippy Peterson in Pennsylvania, and he told me you have not called him yet." I just got back from Mexico, Dan. They got phones in Mexico, Philip.
You don't cut anybody any slack, do you?
Oh, come on, man.
You got to keep it fun.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Just
But
like. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm going to tell you something. I had my choice of a couple different companies to go shoot, and I'm really honored to be part of that man's family.
Aw.
And that bow.
Thank you, Dan.
And my wife, you can even ask Jenny when you ever see her. It stressed me out a little bit because and I called him and I'd already started working with him. I called Larry and I said, "Hey, Skippy bought the gearhead. Do you mind if I run ads for him and help get the word out?" And he goes, "No, go ahead. That's fine." And I called him and I said, I want to shoot gearhead. And I want to be part of the gearhead experience. And if we do this, I'll be with you until I'm done.
Yeah.
And the thing I look at it, when I'm talking to listeners or viewers and I want to talk about a product, I want to be able to say, if you want a good partner in the woods, something that's not going to let you down in that. We all hunt for 20 seconds.
Mhm.
If you boil all our hunting stuff down, it's 20 seconds.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what our hunt comes down to. And at that moment of truth, when that opportunity presents itself, you want to have confidence that when you take that shot, it's going to count.
Correct.
And
100%.
I want to be with somebody like a company like that. And if I have an issue, you have no idea how it is. I can pick up the phone and call that gearhead number. That man picks the phone up.
That's important. That is. I know, years ago back, I'd met Mr. Dennis Lewis from Obsession Bows.
absolutely.
I know Dennis.
Dennis is
Yeah.
a fantastic guy.
Yeah.
Good friend. I mean, I still stay in touch with him, but I picked up Obsession back in, I think it was 2016 here
Yeah.
for a while. It's when I first opened the shop, and we lived and breathed off Obsession Bows. And the cool thing was, I'll never forget this. I had a customer come in that was strictly a bigger bow brand guy. He, there was a brand he shot that, he just wasn't going to deviate from. And it was funny because he come in and he said to me, he said, "I want to shoot these Obsessions because I've heard so much about them. I says, okay, no problem. He says, I'm going to see if I'm going to pick this thing apart. I said, well, you go ahead, do what you got to do. And he shot them here in my shop out here on the range, and the bow baffled him because he couldn't find anything about it he didn't like. So then he started asking me a few questions, and this was a Sunday. I was here, and he says, I don't remember what it was, but I said, I tell you what, I really don't know the answer. I said, but let me make a phone call. So 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, I called Dennis. I got his cell number, and he answered, put him on speakerphone. I said, I have a customer here I got some questions. And they got done, and he told him everything he needed to know, and we hung up. And the guy looked at me, says, "I'm buying this bow right now." He says, "Because you get a hold of somebody like that owns the company." He says, "I'm all about dealing with people like that." And he stayed with him for years too.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
because of the fact that, just like you said here with
Right.
Skip, there's, and I get it that some companies get so big that you may not get a hold of that owner.
Yeah,
I understand that.
I'm
to
not
a
ripping
point.
other companies.
No,
There's good,
but-
Matthews and Elite and Bear, all those companies are good companies. I want somebody that's when my hunt is coming up, or if there's an interruption, I want to be able to get that fixed and or whatever I need to get out there in that stand again or that ground blind. It's nice to be able to have. He's got some of the highest customer satisfaction surveys. If you go online and look, his stuff's off the charts.
Yeah. Yeah, and
He will do anything. That's what I love. He's always been like that. He'll do anything he can to make sure someone is having a good experience.
yeah,
And
that's important.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
is.
the most
Well,
important
I've always
thing.
lived with, from the machine shop standpoint, the biggest sin is to overcommit and underdeliver.
100%.
And
Yeah.
you need to have a great product, but your customer service has to be better than your product.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you don't have the customer service, it doesn't matter how great your product is. If you can't get behind it and to answer people's questions, and even my wife, she's like, "Skip, it's 10 o'clock. Why are you taking these calls?" It's like, well, they
Yeah.
got
I
questions.
know that.
That's
Hey,
right.
it's a different time zone.
Yeah.
It's not 10 o'clock where they are.
no.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's both 30 somewhere.
Exactly.
Oh, I've
so-
gotten text messages at midnight here
Yeah.
Eastern time.
You're
and,
not. You're
you know.
asleep at 7:30.
I don't answer them.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. So are you, buddy. We know you're right there with me.
Yeah.
Sleeping that early. But,
Uh-huh.
but no, I know exactly what you mean. And I can respect that because there's a company that I wanted to get some of their product in
Sure.
here at the shop, and I talked to him, and he says, he said, "I'd love to." He said, "I really would." And we had a very good, solid mutual friend that, put us in contact, and he said, "I'm just at a stage with my product right now," and it's a very hot product on the market right now. And he said, "But I'm just at a stage with it where I can't overcommit. I got so many people that are waiting for me to be able to get their product to them directly that I can't, I just don't want to tell you I can do something for you and then it doesn't happen because then it just makes them look bad." So
Big faction of the outdoors industry that loves gearhead is the saddle hunters.
yeah,
I mean, if you guys ever come to the Iowa Deer Classic, or you go ATA
next
or
year
what,
that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's kind of funny too, Skip, because you remember, 25, 30 years ago, remember the tree seat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I was young and actually could do something. And I mean,
Long time ago.
long time ago, you screw in tree steps and you climbed up and stuff, and everything comes full circle.
It does.
Yeah.
And now that's such in vogue now with the, public hunting and all these
Yeah.
other shows that are out there. And you work, what was that? What's the group you work with? The saddle hunters, the big guys. You gotta saddle. I can't remember.
Help
the
them
name.
out here, Dave.
What's that?
You mean a brand name?
A brand?
No, it's a show, or you work with a. I can't remember the name of them. You told me the other day.
The saddle hunters.
They saddle hunt, but it's.
I feel like we're playing a game of charades here.
I don't know. He'll
It'll come.
But
A little bit.
I mean, they love the small. They're not heavy. They're compact. They any situation they're going to be able to shoot.
Right. It's just they're so maneuverable in the tree. I mean,
Yeah.
but it also lends itself to ground blind, stalking. I mean, the advantages of a short axle to axle bow, it lends itself to so many hunting applications.
Yeah.
And it's just
See, and I started with a 30, which is and and it's right there, my B30. I love that bow.
Mhm.
And then Skip was at the Deer Classic, and he was he had his trailer set up over there, and that Carbon 24, he brought that over and set it on my table, and I picked that up. That's 2 pounds. There's nothing there. And it's like, oh my gosh, and I went over
Yeah.
and shot it, and I'm sure you hear this more than anything, is that the string angle is not going to be right.
I don't even think about the
Yeah,
string angle.
yeah,
I mean,
but
there's
I'm-
so many people. It's like, oh my gosh, it's got such a. It's like, okay, so imagine an open sight rifle. Your dovetail is a long way from your eye, but you still line everything up. So when your peep is up against your eye, you see so much more stuff. Where if the peep is farther, you just aim smaller and you miss smaller.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it helps
It
with
just
your accuracy.
it just lined right up.
Right.
And I said, send me a Disruptor 24. And I set that up. I think it took me 3 shots.
Yeah.
Eyeballed the center shot, put the rest on, tied the peep in.
I know you called me 3 times.
I
that day.
did. I even put it on Facebook. I circled the first one, the second one, and the third one was a perfect bullet hole. And I said, I'm so glad you talked me into shooting that bow.
Right.
Yeah. One thing we both know, Skip, if he calls you and you don't answer, he's calling back. If you don't answer, he's calling back.
Well,
And again,
here's the
and
thing,
again.
folks. Chris is in my fantasy football league. First of all, he has a problem with his IR spot. He
Yeah,
always
here we
puts
go.
people on IR that don't belong on IR. He doesn't do half the stuff he's supposed to. He never pays his fantasy football dues on time. I have to send people out to collect his fantasy football. So
Do you
I
have to do that this year?
no, because your son-in-law won the league, and you Tony backed off his winnings. That's why. But that's why I call Chris as much as I do.
I enjoy it. I love it. I look forward to it.
That's so funny. So you're up here, Todd Rupert's Roost in Peace.
Rupert's Roost in Peace, the beast of the beast of the north.
Yeah. He had a nice event for you guys. Had you guys come up for a nice turkey hunt?
He invited me to come up, and we had. I said this the other day on the air, and I'll say it again. My total nothing but respect for you all that turkey hunt in Pennsylvania because they kick my butt.
They're tough
They're-
ones this time of the year.
I called in a hen. And Larry, listen, I've always told everybody, I'm an average guy, hunter. I'm a guy who just loves to hunt and fish. And I'm an average turkey caller at best. And I've shot a lot of birds with my bow. But, that's the beauty of turkey hunting. You don't have to be a professional caller to be successful.
Mhm.
But these birds did not like what I was saying.
They are tough up here.
Uh-huh.
That's why when we did the podcast with Todd, I asked him. I says, "Do you think that an eastern is the hardest bird to hunt?"
Yeah.
He said, "Listen, I know.
I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah,
I know.
I know.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's because of the pressure or what all plays into that, but I mean, because Pennsylvania, we do have a lot of hunters, and I know easterns are broad. They're down, all the ways into Florida and.
That's Osceolas.
But is there like a
Cascade-
hybrid or anything down that way, or they
you
go?
get south of Gainesville or south, it's Osceolas, and then the rest are Easterns.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah. So, but it's just something about these birds. I mean, they just drive us absolutely nuts out here when
Yeah,
we hunt them
we have
every year.
Easterns in Iowa.
That's not eastern.
They're Easterns. That's the subspecies of turkey we have in Iowa.
So,
Those
You
are
get
the
past
ones that
Kansas,
want to
then you
move
get
west.
into Rios a little bit.
all right. So, I want to bring this out because I know you love to talk about it. Your bow kills for turkeys. Where are we at now, Dan? What's the number? Because I know you always
Okay,
like to
the
tell
reason
us.
this is even a thing, when I first started hunting, I sucked.
Okay.
I could not call a turkey in to save my life.
Now you can call one out of the oven.
And well, not in Pennsylvania. And it took me 4 or 5 years to where I finally started figuring out how to read the bird's behavior and find out and I was calling too often, calling too loud, the nuances that every beginner messes up with.
Mhm.
And then once I figured that out, it came out, and then I started doing the TV show. Turkeys were the easiest thing or the easiest hunts to get to go film. And I made a goal of myself that I wanted to, before I was done, I wanted to shoot 100 birds with my bow. And I'm at 96.
Wow.
That's
96.
impressive.
Wow.
I mean,
That's very
honestly,
That wasn't the
because
number I was expecting.
Yeah.
No.
That's amazing.
And I'm still at 96.
There's probably only one guy that has more than you that I'm aware of.
There's Jeff, my buddy on the show. He actually shot 20-something dual grand slams.
Wow.
Is that
Holy
Jeff
crap.
Buzz?
Jeff Jorgensen.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff.
Wow.
I couldn't have done the show without Jeff. Jeff traveled all over the country. He'd shoot 2 grand slams a year.
Sure.
And he's just he's a good hunter.
Well, your buddy Philip, where's he at?
I bet you Philip's probably 400 or 500 turkeys. Counting
a bow.
shotguns. And
Yeah.
I don't know about a bow, but I mean, Philip has shot a lot of birds. Listen. I'm happy for my total.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's quite the accomplishment. Seriously.
There's this I'll never forget this hunt. I was in Missouri, and I was hunting on this backside of a quarry, and I was hunting on the ground, and I shot fingers back then, the old 41-inch bows, remember
Sure.
string or
Yeah.
Steel cables and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yep.
So I heard birds. I ran around the cedar glade, and I got in. I nestled in, and I started. Here he comes. And I just sat down, got on the cedar, and I'm sitting here ready. And here I saw something moving through the brush. It's coming in, and I go ahead and I start to go to full draw. And this Tom comes around the corner of the cedar tree, and he stops, and his eyes get about this big. And he looks at me, and I look at him, and I start to go, and he's gone. And I just started laughing because it looked like a big cartoon turkey head. It just, the expression on that bird, it's like, that was the funniest thing I ever saw. I'll never forget that. That was like 30 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
You do have hunts like that. You never
Yeah,
forget.
no.
yeah.
So explain for the listeners and the watchers that might not know what the Turkey Grand Slam is. What is the Turkey Grand Slam?
The Grand Slam is your Osceola, your Rio, your Eastern, and your Merriam. And then you have the Gould if you go down towards Mexico.
That's a Royal Slam.
That's a Royal Slam.
Yeah.
And then the World Slam is when you have the oscillated down in South America, right, Skip?
Right, like Belize or
Yeah,
Honduras
and they're
stuff like that.
they're
more like a
they're-
peacock.
They're like an ostrich or
They're
your
peacocks.
peacock.
Oh,
Those are
okay,
the ones with the
yeah.
green and the blue and the
Yeah,
orange.
they don't gobble. They go.
Yeah, they sing, and they don't have a beard either. They
No.
just got long spurs.
Yeah.
Wow.
And no
Okay.
offense to anybody that's done it. God bless you, because
They're
I'll never do.
beautiful, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're beautiful birds. Yeah, but I wouldn't mind shooting a Gould one time. But I've shot my fair share of Merriams, Rios, and Rios.
So you think next year you're going to hit 100? You think you're going to knock that 100 out of the park?
Well, I hope so.
I hope that number 100's in PA.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
going to say, I
with-
hope
with-
that's
with-
at Turkey
yeah,
Camp.
Yeah,
the
so-
turkey camp, yeah.
hopefully I draw Kansas and I get 2 in Iowa, and then if I can come here and get 100, that'd be awesome. I'd love to do it with you guys.
I'm gonna throw a
be
party
awesome.
for you if you do it.
That'd be
I'm gonna
awesome.
throw a party. I'm gonna be having some. I'm gonna have some Baldi's pizza and some. I'm gonna. What was that place with the wings?
Oh, Jiggers.
Jiggers.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be throwing some wings down there.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Donuts
That's
from the donut. Was it the
Meatballs.
donut chef that
Oh,
morning?
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. That old Todd Rupert man. Yeah. It just. I've been very blessed over my travels, and when I met you guys, and then I got invited to come out to Chico, and I honestly met some really good friends out of that. That means the world to me.
Yeah, it does to me as well. My wife Amy will tell you, and we've always said that having this shop is what has been the best part of our lives when it comes to our friendships and people we've met.
Yeah.
Having the business is
Absolutely.
great. It's my passion, and my wife wasn't a hunter or into archery or anything, but she was nice enough to whenever I talked to her about this, said, hey, it's your passion, you want to do it, I support you.
Yeah.
She's here with me all the time. And now, and it's the funny thing is she's learned so much about the product and all that now that we sell that she never knew before.
Yeah.
But she enjoys the friendships and the people that come in as much as I do. That's the best part of it. I mean, a lot of our friends, all this, it's just what we're doing here right now, and wouldn't have been possible without getting into the hunting industry.
And we would have never met.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's I mean, with
Yeah.
Ken and Megan. I mean, Megan moved back here from the state of California, and we just trying to find her something to do. And my wife and I talked. Said, well, let's give her a part-time job here at the shop. She didn't know nothing about hunting at the time or anything, but then steps Mr. Ken Reese one day, fortunately spending some money because that was the joke.
Can
and,
you fix my bow?
yeah, and then
It was
next
Winter
thing you
League,
know-
yeah.
So
Shooting Winter League with my buddy Adam.
and then now you got Megan who's into the hunting, and
Yeah.
she's dove in
she's-
head first. So
She,
I'm
let me tell
excited.
you,
so
she really has.
Skippy's also an accomplished guide. He guides out of Trophies Plus Outfitters,
Yeah.
and he's a hell of a turkey hunter. He
Yeah.
really is. Him and I are going to go out and try to get a muley this fall.
We are going to get a muley.
Yeah, I was going to ask
We're
you
not
about
going to
that.
try. We're going to get a muley.
Yeah.
I was going to actually bring that stuff up to you guys next because you guide.
There's
with,
a lot of.
Well,
There's
yeah,
a lot
it's
of-
crazy. Just the small world, like you were saying, the amount of connections that you figure out, even not
Yeah.
that you
Right.
necessarily make, that you figure out is.
Yeah.
I went with
Yeah,
Trophies
you're
Plus.
at Trophies Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in 2021 with Mike and my father went out and we just while you're out getting pizza, we having conversations and
There's food involved. I'm there.
yeah.
I'm with you,
But
brother.
we were all just singing high praises about Mike and Esther out
You
there.
won't
at
find a
Trophies Plus.
nicer
No.
family than the Watkins.
No,
I'll always be grateful I got to meet those people, and I've been out there several times, and I don't have anybody ask me to go where they can go mule deer hunt or antelope hunt, turkey hunt out west. I always tell them go Trophies Plus Outfitters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
Your
first
last,
time.
Your last mule deer, we scouted every night for that mule deer.
Yeah.
You know, we were up there on a high ridge with the spotting scope and like, when's Dan coming in? We hope he holds the same pattern. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That was awesome because I don't remember what farm that was, but when Matt Pitzer actually came out and helped me film.
Oh, sweet.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know
cool.
if you knew that or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keystone
And,
Experience.
yeah, and we were out there, and I mean, they started coming off these this ridges, and
Yep.
it's just like Matt, and then and then this one. I mean, he's not a world breaker, but I've never killed a muley before,
And he's in velvet.
and he was in velvet, and that's
That's
why I
what's
wanted
cooler.
to get a
Yeah.
velvet
Yeah.
buck.
Heck yeah.
And I'm glassing, and I go, Matt, that's a shooter, and he came in and he did his thing, and we got him. So it was awesome. I called Mike. I absolutely love you, man.
No, it was my dad and I had an absolutely amazing time.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
good. They're just good
Oh.
people out there.
You eat well.
Yeah, Esther's awesome. She's got
You
her
don't
own,
lose weight. That's
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
you don't
That's
lose-
for sure.
Esther's got her own cookbook. You can get it. She can mail it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, our first morning, I got up, walked out. I was gonna get a cup of water or something when I woke up. I walked out. My dad was still getting dressed. Esther's sitting on the couch. Oh, you're up. I was waiting for you.
Yeah,
You know, what do you got? What do you want for breakfast? I'm like, holy cow, this is great.
yeah.
So no, it was, and like you said, anybody that really comes up to me or I hear guys talking about, I haven't been out west yet. I want to go out for something. Trophies Plus is
Well,
the
even
first words out of my
When
mouth.
we were talking about going out west for your elk hunt, you're like, I have to talk to I have
Yeah,
to go talk to
I
him
emailed
first
Mike,
and
'cause
see
Yeah.
who he recommends because
Yeah.
I want to hear where
Oh.
he thinks I should go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike's really good about that. And you
Yeah.
can find if you're here in PA, if you're listening to this, Mike's always at the Harrisburg
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
He's got a booth. So.
Yeah, that's where I met.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where
you
I
met him
introduced you to Mike. Yeah.
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 Yeah. He has
Yeah.
beautiful country out there too.
Oh,
They
yeah.
used to film the Marlboro commercials out
On
there.
the 2U.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
so when you saw the Marlboro man running down with his horse down the river, it was the Belfouche River
Yeah.
with the cottonwoods
Yeah.
golden in the breeze.
It's beautiful out there.
And Ronald was always so proud of that because whenever you got onto that ranch, that's the first thing he said. The Marlboro commercial was filmed here.
Yeah.
and he passed away 8 months ago. So
Oh,
yeah, so
wow.
he's,
Sorry to
he's
hear that.
But his relatives have divided the ranch, and we actually turkey hunted it this past spring, and it was kind of nice. We hadn't hunted it for a number of years, so going back there when you hadn't been there for 8 years, it was kind of nice going back to a familiar ranch
Yeah.
and rewalking and new memories and stuff like that. So it was good.
It's
Nice.
beautiful country out there because when we went with Zach, I
Yeah,
was giving
Zach.
the wrong name. I
Yeah.
don't know why I
You
was
were
thinking
insistent
Chris.
that they-
Yeah.
You were like, no, that's Zach.
Yeah.
We went to Zach's family's property out there.
Yeah,
and they
the
had,
Tope Ranch,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
and you drive past this old building, and,
Yeah.
and Zach's like 1800s. I was
Yeah.
like, really? He said, yep, we leave it go. We just drove past. I'm like, we got to stop. I want to take some pictures
Right.
at least of this building. It's the coolest thing
So
ever.
the Tope Ranch is so unique because it's a history lesson. Because up that one draw, there's an Indian cave that's got pictographs and stuff on the wall
Yeah,
where it's
that's
all
pretty
carved.
cool.
I need to
And-
go to this place.
And
Trophies.
they
plus.
actually found like a mummy in there, and
Oh.
they actually took the mummy out, and it's actually on display in Cheyenne at the museum.
Wow.
So they actually have classes out there where they'll take a class in it, and what they've determined is that the mummy that was buried in there was like a medicine man based on the drawings and stuff on the wall.
Oh.
But then when you go down to the Belfouche River, there's a sod house. So it was all cut with sod and all that. And then if you go into Brushy, there's an old log cabin. So like within that one ranch, you see like 3 different civilizations from different periods of time that are real. There's actually, you can put yourself in that spot and just say, oh my gosh, people lived here in these conditions. And like you walk out of the Indian cave and you see this beautiful view, and it's like, man, can you just imagine coming out of that? It puts you in that element, and it's just so awesome. They could actually have like guided tours of that ranch just
Oh,
to
it's
kind of,
beautiful. Yeah.
even if it's not hunting, just to show people how people used to live and just the topography, and that it's a beautiful place to be.
I have a video. There's that section on their property where it's just that flat top
Yeah.
up on top there, and
Mm-hmm.
I had Zach stop, and I just kind of stood up on the sideboards of the Suburban that
Sure,
he had,
yeah.
and I just did a little spin around. video.
I've taken the drone up on there.
Oh.
When I get home, I'll send you a link to that.
Yeah.
Where we take the drone up and we take it all the way around. It's
Yeah.
it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, that way you guys can see that. And that's where my dad got his antelope.
Oh, okay.
Was on his property with that
Nice.
03A4 Springfield
Speaking of which,
rifle.
did he pay you for that drone?
Oh, he did.
Good.
I did.
Yeah, I got what we agreed upon, and I got a 15-minute shopping spree. All I can grab after you leave.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Well, so Skip will keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
So Skip, what do you have lined up for hunts coming up here?
Well, if you want to be a hunter, don't own a bow company.
Or a boat
Yeah.
shop?
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always had this thought, when bow season opened, I would have all this extra time, that everyone's going to be in the woods hunting and you can just go hunting too. Not the case. I mean, it's just like everyone now waits to the last minute, and then it's your responsibility to get them to the woods while you sit there and you're building bows. They're setting up bows so they can go hunting. So I'm finding that most of my hunting needs to get done in April and May because that seems to be the slow period.
Mhm.
And then the fall, we just keep working.
Right.
So I just got back from an Ontario bear hunt, and I could just see making that an annual tradition just because it's not that busy building bows and that, and I can go up there and have a really good time in
That's beautiful up
Yeah.
there. I spent a week a few years ago back in northern Saskatchewan
mm-hmm.
and hunted with Steep Bank Outfitters, Rocky Russo. I don't know if you know Rocky, but it was just so gorgeous. I mean, the northern lights and just where we stayed and everything about that was
Sure.
just fantastic experience.
But I do have a field staff, and every year I pick the field staffer of the year, and I get them on a hunt. So there's two guys that I'm taking a Trophies Plus on on a deer hunt in early September. So I am going to get out there and hopefully they want to hunt mule deer, so hopefully I can go out there and find a spot.
I don't think I told you about this. He calls it the dodo buck contest, and it's whoever you go out and you shoot a doe with a gearhead, and then you call Skip and FaceTime him and do the recovery, and then that gets you into.
There's lots of different ways to get points. So
Yeah.
just shooting a doe gets you points.
Yeah.
But then if you FaceTime me on the recovery, that's more points.
Yeah.
And I think there's like 4 different point totals, but yeah, so then the one with the most points wins this. You ever see those championship buckles?
Mm-hmm.
Where we present them the championship buckle of the Dodo Buck Award.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to do something. I'm going to give away a whitetail hunt this year. If someone buys a gearhead, I'll start talking about it on the Outdoor Call radio app probably in August, and I'll tell everybody get enough time to order a bow and get it all set up and ready. But yeah, I'm excited about doing
That
it.
FaceTime is so cool. I mean, because it's almost like you're on the hunt with them. Your
Yeah.
phone rings and it's like, oh my God, Justin's FaceTiming me, and then you answer it and he's like, Skip, you want to see something? And he'll flip his phone around. And you're just like, whoa, Or then like Justin Jackson last year, he shot a doe and he was so excited that we're actually going down the trail. He's like, here's blood, and then he picks up his phone. And there the doe is laying. And all of a sudden she stands up and she runs off. And just the look on his face was just like, and I'm like, Justin, how long did you give her? And he goes, a half hour. He goes, no, 15 minutes. He goes, oh, I don't know. I was excited. So after that, I said, just put the phone down, give her 15 minutes, and then, keep tracking, and she was just right there. But he didn't wait. He was so excited to FaceTime me that he went.
That might be the hard thing with you.
Yeah, that's
You
gonna
get a
be.
deer, it's like.
I know Dan's got his phone in his hands all the time. I see him.
Yeah,
Tons
but
of that.
I'm doing fantasy football trades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. So you got anything else lined up, Skip? Or?
Mule deer.
Well,
Mule deer.
I guess we're going
Mule
mule
deer.
deer hunting with.
No, we are going.
Well, I
mule.
guess we're going mule
We're
deer
going
hunting.
with the Dirkster.
We're going with the Dirkster to
Yeah.
the Hell's Canyon.
Yeah.
And I'll probably go out in July. I like to start putting cameras out in July 4th because that's usually when the bucks have made the turn and you can kind of see potentially what they're going to be.
Yeah.
And I usually just flood the area with cameras just to kind of take inventory of what the area holds. So I'll usually go out in July 4th because most people have work off, and I'll just go out, put cameras out, and come right back home. I won't delay or
Yeah.
wait at all.
That's when I start putting all my mock scrapes out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great time to take an
It sure
inventory.
is.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps you occupied till hunting
Right.
season, and we did a deal today. If you bought a gearhead here at Creek, I gave away the first 3. Got a Tacticam reveal camera, and those things are great because
Yeah.
you don't have to drive. You're saving fuel. You're not educating the deer.
Right.
You know what's going on.
Yeah, they're
That's
awesome. That's Ken and I are,
Yeah.
and Megan's gonna go. We're headed out to Illinois. We hunt with Justin Graves out at Graveyard Whitetails
cool.
out in La Harpe, Illinois. So we're gonna meet up with him second week of July and get some of our Tacticams out on his property. Now he's running. I want to say over 100 cameras now.
Easy.
And they're all Tacticams.
Yeah.
Wow.
Over
All
he's
of
got
them.
5,500 acres.
Yeah.
And he was excited. We were excited because when we talked to him, he's like, "Well, you guys running Tacticams?" We said, "Yeah." He says, "Great." He says, "We'll link you up to mine, and you can watch
Yeah.
You
my
can help me
cameras."
watch
He said,
my
"Because I don't
property."
have time." He said, "I don't have time to
Yeah.
watch them all."
Well,
Yeah.
there's so many different things out there now. You can take and upload your cameras to them, and it'll actually tell you if you got a deer or target buck daylighting. It'll let you know.
Wow.
So the technology out there now
It's
is
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
we
there's
know.
still places where we go out west where they don't have cell coverage. So
Yeah,
I mean,
you
I'm,
can-
I'm
well-
still
well,
running,
yeah.
old
Old
Just a
school
regular
old
SD
system.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You get past Belfouche, you might as well forget
Right.
about it. I don't know how many times I had to go from camp to Belfouche just to call and do business.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Are-
I kind of got that figured out too because the cameras I run out there, I found a 16 gigabyte card works the best because when the card is full, the batteries are dead. Where if you went with a
32.
a 32, it's like you got all that memory, your batteries are dead. Or if you go less, your card is full and their batteries
Yeah.
are still rolling. So that's what I'll probably run out there is those.
Yeah.
And they have the nice solar panels too.
That's
runs.
I switched over to rechargeable batteries,
Mm-hmm.
and you put that solar panel on, and the key to that is you want to put it to where you're getting the track of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And I get 5-6 months out of my. Now that's depending on how many pictures it's taken and stuff, but I usually get 4 or 5 months out of that.
That's insane. And then again, just that perk of having that solar panel.
Mm-hmm.
You're not running out there and changing batteries
Right.
Yeah.
every 3 weeks, or if you've got raccoons, you're in a raccoon path or a squirrel path, and you're not getting or weeds grow up.
That one year with Ohio, you went through.
Man.
We sat there, and went through 400 pictures of just the grass blowing.
Weed whacker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, when you, like Illinois, for instance, I mean, that's what, 12.5-hour ride for us.
Sure.
It's not easy to get
Well,
out
we're
there and
gonna-
check those.
We're gonna run them down and
Yeah.
link up. And
So,
no, they're nice.
what else can we get into here? We've talked about the hunts. What do you got lined up? I mean, we know what Skip's going to do. What do we
First
have
time
you-
in 17 years I didn't draw Kansas.
That's-
That made me cry a little bit. It's getting harder and harder. COVID did a couple different things. It got more people into hunting and fishing, which is great for the country and the industry and conservation. Bad part of that is a lot of people quit going across the border because it was so difficult during COVID. They started learning how good it is here in the continental U.S. to hunt, and so now it's become an issue for people you can't guarantee or plan to go to the same place every
Right.
year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have to vary it up a little bit. But since I didn't draw Kansas, I'm going to go with Skippy, and we're going to go out there, and then I'll probably just focus on Iowa.
Right.
So you have a lease in Iowa.
Got a couple places I hunt in Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah. You got some pretty good
I was
bucks
gonna
out
say
of
it's
those.
not a bad place to be stuck
No.
hunting. So
You also go. I know that you spend a lot of time with the guys at Triple H. Then.
Well,
That's
that's
what it looks
that's
like.
where I've been hunting. I met Donovan and his dad up at Bear Camp up in Minnesota a long time ago, and we've been buddies ever since. And I go out there every year. Well,
Since you didn't draw Kansas, will you still go to Kansas just to be part of deer camp with them?
I'm actually going to hunt the rut in Iowa for once,
Are you?
because usually I'm
Wow.
in Kansas.
Okay.
Kansas is a great sleeper state. I mean, for me to leave Iowa
Right.
to go hunt
Mhm.
Kansas.
Kansas,
Yeah,
tells
you got
how
a point
good
there.
it is. And Iowa's one of the. It's got great deer. That's why I moved there.
Right.
Kansas has got some phenomenal. You're only allowed to take one buck as a resident or a non-resident in Kansas, so their quality and their quantity is it's really well balanced.
Right.
But skip, half of it's the camaraderie
It
of
is.
camp, and
Exactly.
you want to, you look forward to being with your second family.
You're gonna
and,
miss Larry.
I won't.
I won't.
Larry.
Larry
He'll
didn't draw.
miss you.
Ryan drew, so Larry will be filming Ryan.
Okay.
But yeah, Larry and I both didn't draw.
Oh, that's right. They were talking. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were talking
Yeah.
about that on Friday.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But those tags, it's industry wide. I mean,
It's
I've
everywhere.
been
Oh,
applying
yeah.
for elk tags, and they're almost impossible to draw anywhere.
Well, now there's states that are over the counter that are talking about getting rid of that and going
Colorado.
to draw.
So I used to go to Colorado over by Steamboat Springs,
Mm-hmm.
and it was public, and it was always really good. Well, I went there a couple years ago. I applied for Arizona, New Mexico, Wyoming, Montana, but you can always go to Colorado because they're over the counter. Well, I went to this old honey hole of mine. Oh my God!
Yeah, overrun.
Oh, there's like 20 cars in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And we found like 7 carcasses that were deboned. It's like
Wow.
oh my! It's like you can't get away from people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's
So they
Paul,
need
Paul and his brother went out there this last year, and I mean they were getting run over by everywhere they went.
Yeah.
People on horses.
and those e-bikes have become so popular out there. Like I'm back in 3.5 miles, almost approaching private ground, only to have a guy go by me on an e-bike waving, and I'm like, oh my God,
I have one. It wasn't
We both,
me.
yeah,
yeah.
we both run them out in Illinois and then in Ohio too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have their place.
They
Oh.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we'd have to be in our underwear walking to our stands in Illinois if we didn't have those. I mean,
Yeah,
we're 1,000 yards out.
I just like the no ground scent.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
That for
Absolutely.
me, that's the
No
thing I like
noise.
about them.
Yeah.
I had one last year or 2 years ago in Iowa. I had one and rode it right to my tree stand, put it on the ground, and 30 minutes later I had a buck tag.
Mhm.
Yeah, I used mine in Illinois last year. I had a 6-pointer walk. I left it at the base of the tree, and he walked right past it and almost knocked it over.
Yeah.
He didn't pay no mind.
And
to
when
it.
you're going through the fields too, or even through the woods, and you go past deer on a e-bike,
They don't pay attention.
nope.
they look up at you,
Right.
walking back down to eating.
Right.
They don't. That's for all they know. It's a car going by, and
Mhm.
that's
Huh.
it. Between that, you're not laying ground scent. You're not sweating up, getting to your stand, and it's. I think they're 100% worth their weight in
Yeah,
gold
they're
in
good
those
tools.
in their right scenarios.
What you might want to think about doing is getting those decoys, that kind of fold up and put one on each side of the bike, and then just go driving the deer. Be like,
we've got
"Whoa!"
one.
It's jeez. Here we go.
Be like,
Wait,
"Whoa!"
Pancake Gary, we could just.
Do you know?
I
about
think he's
Pancake
upstairs. I'm going to show him the Dan later.
Yes, Pancake.
My
This is
decoy they laugh
his
at.
newest way of being used. We'll just rig him to the bike.
There you go.
You guys had to have seen these things before, as long as you've been in the industry.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah, they call it.
Well, I have a
her and her sis-
DSD. I mean, I use my DSD. I love that decoy, but
Her sisters started calling it. Who makes the pancake curry?
Montana.
Montana.
no, it's not a Montana.
It's not.
No.
No, this is something different. It looks like a stuffed animal you'd buy at Walmart.
Oh no.
Go up and get it. You can go
I
up and
will.
get it now if you want.
No,
No,
I'll go get it. I'll show him later. I'm going to save Gary for another episode.
he gets
Yeah.
he gets an honorary mention pretty much in every episode.
Oh,
the
yeah. He
pancake
finds his
curry.
way in.
Yeah.
Yeah, DSD actually came out with a doe decoy last year when we were filming in Kansas, and I've used the buck decoy for the last 6-7 years, and I love rattling in deer bucks with a decoy, but I think from now on I think I'm gonna just use that doe decoy because I have 20-something different bucks in 2 days come in and try to scent check that doe, and I ended up killing 164.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I seen those are you can't beat a DSD decoy. Even the turkeys, everything. I mean, they're
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
I mean, I'd never seen. I told Larry was rattling and grunting, and buck coming in, buck coming in, buck coming in. I go, and they're going right to that doe, and does were coming in, feeding right next to it, not giving it a second thought. And it's like I looked at Larry. I said, "Man, I think that's all I'm using from now on."
Mhm.
And they got a new one now. It's a bedded doe. And I mean, if you use that, and like that buck's got that doe pinned,
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, if a big old mature bruiser comes out there and sees that, he's going to come in and check it
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
Not in my house.
Who's got
That's
you?
Yeah.
Who's got you pinned in my house? Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, that's those decoys are awesome. I've been using them for a while now myself.
So that was you were out in Kansas last year. How did that go? How did
Yeah, it was
that
good.
go?
I
Got that 160. So that 164 was last year.
It was an epic hunt. It was 14 days straight.
Wow,
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
it's a lot too. I mean, it's
Well,
it's hard.
honestly could have shot earlier, but I was self-filming and the deer didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
Mhm.
And he ended up, instead of going wide, he actually came right at the blind.
Uh,
And I got my bow over here and I'm sitting here filming and it's like, if I pick up my bow, he's going to see me.
mhm.
Right.
And I'm going, come on, cut and go back to the creek. And he never cut. And he walked right by me at like 2 feet. And it's like, well,
Could have tackled him.
oh yeah. He had a big old flyer. They called him the flyer buck. He was,
Oh, that's
it
cool.
was a pretty cool deer. Yeah.
Nice.
And that's the one you
Congrats.
eventually got?
No, Larry and I went to this other property Donovan had, and that's where I saw those 22 different bucks.
Sure.
I mean, I tell you, every time I go out with Philip or Larry, I learn something new every time I go out. They really do some crazy stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
he talking about crazy stuff. He was the one that gave you the idea.
Yeah,
the
with
layout
the
blind.
layout
for-
blind for
Yeah,
turkey
Larry.
hunting.
Yeah,
For turkey hunting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, him and Ryan both shot him right. Them turkeys, they're just sitting there in a layout blind, and the decoys are 4 feet in front of them, and them turkeys are just coming right. And Larry's sitting there, and he shot his decoy twice because they were so close.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
It's just, I said, Larry, because he told me he was going to do that. I said, you get out of here. There's no way they're going to be putting off at you. He did it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah, well, when I talked to him about that was at the Chico show.
Yeah.
And he gave me that idea. So literally right after that, I had gone out with one of the guys that works here for me, and he had a layout blind. And I said, hey, we're going to go try this. And we put it out there because I had a bird I was hunting a couple of years. He just was quiet. He lived on a farm by himself, and he was hard to get to.
Was he like a field bird that just went
Yeah.
up to the middle and just kind of hung out?
Exactly. I have footage of him just hanging out at 60, 70 yards,
well,
not
I
coming
wish you
any
would have
closer.
done that this year.
Yeah,
You
we
just
tried to
didn't
get
even
Megan
show
on
up.
him. He just
Mhm.
didn't even show up. But
Mm-mm.
so I put that layout blind out there, and it was a cut cornfield, and we
Okay.
brushed it in with cut corn, and it looked like it wasn't there. Like it just looked like the ground. And I got in this thing, and I had the hole from the blind to look out, and I'm like, this is perfect. So the day of the hunt, I put a hen decoy at my feet, about maybe 10 steps from me. And I'm just laying there looking out that hole. I'm there before daylight. I never called once. I just laid there just looking up at the sky at this decoy. And all of a sudden, here comes this gobbler, and he shows up right next to the hen. And I'm laying there with my shotgun. I'm so excited because
How
I'm like,
close?
I'm going to – from me to you away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, literally, 6 feet. And I'm thinking – I'm going to get him. I'm just going to wait till he goes. I'm talking to myself
Right.
in my head, like I'm just going to let him go full strut. And when he turns away, I'll just open these doors and I'll get him. Well, me talking to myself didn't work very well because I got so anxious that I just busted the doors open and I tried to get the shotgun on him. I think he lost like 9 lives. He took off and I took a shot and missed him. And,
Oh my gosh.
and I haven't seen him since. But it was pretty cool because after that happened, I ended up going to the back of the farm and killed my biggest bird so far. It had 1 3/4 spurs.
Wow.
On it, so.
The one that
That's
Todd
a-
Rupert.
Yeah.
That's a jumbo.
He almost
Yeah.
cleaned it and ate it.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Todd saw that bird and he goes, no.
I mean,
You
that's
are going to mount that turkey.
exactly.
The story on the episode that we did with Todd.
Yeah.
He
Wow.
talks about Todd coming out from the back. He goes, "Hey, bud, you got a spur gauge?"
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of those things, Skip. I know what a big whitetail looks like.
Sure.
I know what a booner is, but when it comes to turkey hunting,
That's a booner turkey.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not realize that the spurs played that big of a part. I
Yeah.
always knew the beards,
Yeah.
long beard, but I didn't realize the spurs. So the day that happened, I'm glad that it did. But Todd had ordered a blind off me that he needed to pick up, and that
Yeah.
was the first morning of turkey hunting, and I was kind of running late to get here at the shop, and I put that bird in the back room. It's laying back there on the floor, not gutted out or anything, because I knew my wife was going to kill me if I didn't get here on time. Todd shows up to pick up his blind, and that's, he's like, hey, how's it going? I told him, I said, I got one today. I said, it's laying back there. I said, I'm going to throw it on the smoker later. And he goes back to check it out. He comes back out. He said, buddy, you got a spur gauge? And I said, yeah, I do. So I give it to him. He goes back, and I'm out here working, and comes back out, and he says, buddy, I don't think you know what you got here. I said, well, it's a turkey. It's a dead one, and I'm eating them later. He says, oh, no. You're not. You don't know what you got here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so, I got to thank Todd for that because we took it to one of his good buddies, Dennis Raza, did a beautiful mount for me. And
I met him.
Yeah,
at
I
his
looked it
event.
up. And,
Great guy.
And it's tied for 4th in the state of Pennsylvania
Sure.
for spur length, and they're true inch and a quarter or inch and 3/4 both sides. I mean, they're sharp. I
What do
mean,
you think?
it's-
How old that bird is? You
That
think
bird's
8?
probably 5, 6,
Seven-
7 years.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like the king of the woods.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So I thought I was hunting the king of the woods, and I ended up killing him.
You shot
know?
a 180 PA buck.
Yeah, and Todd said to me, he said an inch and 3/4 spur is like it's a booner.
You
It's a
won't ever
booner.
kill a
He
turkey
said-
bigger than that.
And that's what he told me. He said, I've been hunting them my whole life. And Todd, you know how he is when it comes to his turkey calls and how passionate he is and
Right.
everything about
Yeah.
turkeys.
Yeah.
He was calling everyone to come look at this turkey.
Oh,
He
yeah.
says,
Yeah.
you got to come down here and see this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it,
I
it
can
was,
see-
it was
I've probably
amazing.
been a part of 200, 250 turkey kills. The largest one is inch and 5/8. You know, so it's like, that's huge.
Yeah, that's what he says. If you get over an inch and a half, you're getting something there.
I've got 3 that are over that. 3 out of 96.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I just happen to get lucky with
I've
the right
never,
one.
I've never gotten one as big that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I promised Todd that if I leave this earth before he does, he gets that mount.
Yeah, he claimed it.
Oh, I'll see.
He claimed it.
I could see Rupert at the funeral.
Doing the eulogy.
Oh, yeah.
With the turkey
Well, yeah.
behind him.
Yeah. You don't know the story, folks.
Yeah.
He got this bird and he was going to eat it.
Yeah.
I had to tell him what he had.
I stopped him.
I stopped him. That's right. He was going to gut it.
Yeah.
He was going to gut it and grill it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He not. He got blah, blah. I told him when he's dead, it's mine. Amy, thank you. I'm taking him home.
Just picks him up and
Yeah.
walks out.
He did. He said that bird owes me.
Yeah. He saved it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we with the turkey camp this year, one bird.
Freddie killed a nice
Freddie.
bird. He got a 68-inch bird, or 60 points or whatever, the 68 points, whatever that is. And, yeah, he did good. I called in a hen, and I had several goats that liked me. Had a good
You called
conversation.
in what?
Yeah,
A
your,
hen-
your
a
mic
hen-
fell a little bit.
Do I?
Your mic fell a little bit.
It fell?
There you go.
Hello?
No, not there. There we
I
go.
called in a hen and several goats,
Goats.
that liked me.
Are you goat boy now? You're the goat boy?
I was clucking and purring, and they were yeah. I shared my Pop-Tarts with a chipmunk. It was a good time.
Yeah.
I got trenched.
What was Freddie's spurs on that bird?
I didn't get the get the measurement.
I think
know-
he told me inch and a half today.
it was a
Doesn't
beautiful.
matter.
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
did
it's
see
good.
I
that.
remember him
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about
so
that.
I think he's the champ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
Took
bird
the
too.
belt.
He's such a good guy.
I was
too.
gonna say
I
that's
like
who
s-
you want to see.
Yeah, Freddie's a good guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
They sent me submitted a striker drop video with the striker drop we set up with Todd Rupert.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that. So when we did an episode with Todd Rupert, he was teaching Megan how to run a turkey call.
Okay.
Because I'd never even touched one
Right.
before.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, we did we did Todd's story about the calls, how he came up to, kind of where he is now, and then the second part was we called it Classes in Session.
Okay.
And it was filming him. It was him. He was kind of going around the table pretending like I didn't grow up a turkey. I was just always deer hunting. I've maybe hunted turkey just a handful of times. It was just always deer. I never grew up with someone who hunted turkey, so I was deer. So it was
class.
It was
for
good
us
for
and
me.
Sure.
and then he was like, Chris, pretend like you never held a turkey call before. So he was down to the
That was easy
down
for
to
him.
the he was down to the details. Hold it here, don't hold it here. Call and keep it away from your body.
Kind of point it out where you
Yeah.
want it to go.
Mhm. Just holding it in the right positions, teaching her, showing her everything, and he goes, have at it. Sure enough. First time. And he goes, grab the striker, he goes, just drops it on the
He
table.
said like a mic drop.
like
He
a
said,
mic
"I'm
drop.
done."
Yep.
he
She's
did it
got
with the striker. So we're talking. I'm like, we got to do a T-shirt. So we did a striker drop. When the flopping stops, the striker drops, and it's Rupert's hand dropping the striker.
Is that the one he was selling today that I saw?
We had a couple
had-
at our
okay,
booth
yeah,
that
just
we
a couple
sold.
left.
Yeah, we
Alright.
had a couple left. So we sold those at the Chico show, and we donated $1,000 back to the Chico show
Oh,
from the
nice.
proceeds from
Nice.
from
The
that
guys have
shirt
been
sales.
Good about getting us some striker drop
So
videos.
they're submit. We're like, we tell the guys and we tell everybody, just hey, take a video. I hand out the blind after the turkey with the turkey, or if the turkey's in the back of the truck. Murph sent me a video. He had the turkey hanging off a fence with the spurs. And then he kind of reached out, backed up, reached out, dropped the striker in front, held it out real nice with the Rupers logo, and dropped it. So
he's a good turkey hunter. And he makes some great call. He helps Todd with the mouth call side of it.
Yeah, we got to get Dan on and talk about those.
Yeah.
We kind of didn't touch on his mouth
Can
calls
do
because we wanted him to.
turkey season wrap up with his team.
Yeah, that bat
episode.
wing he does is really easy to call with.
Yeah,
So-
great guys.
So you're gonna use that layout blind technique again? I mean, was it?
I liked it,
Yeah.
and I will. Yes, I think in the right situation, it is.
It was easier for him to nap.
He's already laying down.
I did a similar thing like that one year on a field bird. Although I went out at midnight because it didn't have any debris. It was like a disc field, and I took a shovel and I dug a big hole, and I put the hunter in there, and then I got back off with the video camera. And it was kind of funny because I could see the turkeys coming. Every now and then his head would pop up out of the hole and then it'd go back down. And he didn't get it done, but he had turkeys that were right there. Then afterwards I was talking to Tony. I said, well, what was it like out there? He goes, now I know what it must have felt like to be in Vietnam.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm definitely going
funny.
to do it again. But I think Larry, like you said, Larry and Ryan, they're not even laying down in them now. They're sitting in them.
No, they're sitting in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're sitting straight up. And, I mean, as soon as they come and hit the decoys and start spinning, as soon as their head's behind their fan, they draw and
Yeah.
let them have
that's what Larry was telling me. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun
He'll
way to
do it
hunt.
again. That's where CEO was
I
born.
was gonna say that's
Yeah.
gonna
Closed
be their
Eyes Outfitters,
trademark.
that's
hunt,
where that
is
was
the
born.
layout
Yeah.
I'll
blind.
never forget that. I had a fletch in my hand, I had a vein in my hand, I had glue on it, and I was gluing fletching on an arrow. And Dan Young's coming up on my phone. Hey, look at my Facebook.
Yeah, Skip, I was, we're so the three of us are in the blind together, and it was a rainy early morning. and-
Whatever.
And nothing's going on. And I thought these two were my buddies. Apparently not.
No,
I'm your
Um,
daughter. I can't be your buddy.
So,
You know what? Though?
You
She
could.
was just as guilty.
but anyhow, I decided it was a great time to take a nap in my chair and just kind of wait things out. Next thing I know, I look at my phone later that afternoon, and there I am sleeping. And this gentleman to my right put out this whole big thing about closed eye outfitters, and you'll have a
Oh, my
great
gosh.
time if you go with this guy.
Brown
and-
bag lunch.
Yeah, so because of course Ken had to send them the pictures.
He could have
and-
booked a couple hunts already. This
Yeah,
could have been
he
a
actually had
business
calls.
venture.
Yeah. I don't get it. Rupert, I make a hoodie for him, outdoor green. He, don't ever do that again. I didn't approve that. He's got 40-something people. Man, that hoodie's awesome. Where can I get one?
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and now you got me
booking hunts.
booking turkey hunts,
Yeah.
and I don't
Don't
even have
worry,
anywhere to take them.
Next-
Broken Knock is gonna have a closed size outfitter T-shirt run or something.
We should have had one for turkey camp.
You
maybe.
should have, yeah.
I should have did
Closed
it.
Eyes Outfitters.
Yeah.
You'll never feel so rested.
Send it out to Heather. Send it out to Heather. Have you create the logo for it? Send it
I'll
out,
get it
Heather.
going.
Do
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
tell Chris this.
Yeah, all thanks to Dan.
Yeah.
You'll be taking their phones away next time they're in the
I
blind.
think so.
You know.
Or that, yeah, just like at dinner time, whenever you
Yep.
can't
Oh,
have
but
your
you're
phone.
the number
we're gonna-
one. You're always on your phone though, so that would
Not me, never.
The group would have to get rid of their phones, and that
Well.
would be a tough one. So.
You were just as guilty though.
See, the difference between it though, and I was guilty. I had just finally fallen asleep, but I was fighting it the entire time. Like I was so into it, but I was so tired, and I would start to lean forward, and I'd wake myself
I'm not
back up.
fighting it. I'm
He
taking
was
a nap.
kicked back in the chair like this, just.
No,
like,
Chris?
Oh,
He
yeah.
wasn't kicked back. He was nuzzled in.
Oh, yeah,
he
yeah,
was-
tucked in. with
Listen,
his-
that
his
rain
blanket.
coming down, hitting the top of that blind, it just
Yeah.
was perfect.
I fought it the whole way through, but
Yeah.
he was
Yeah,
just
I-
tucked in.
Well, you have a guide now. We have someone that's qualified for your guide. Aaron DeMasi put that picture up with Nick.
Oh, Nick
Oh, with
was
Nick
Sleeping on the
Did you
ground.
see that? Nick
Yeah.
That
I
would be your
saw
first
that.
Knock
guy
out the
for
words
closed
him and
eyes.
Aaron have.
Yeah.
Yeah, she saw
That
that
was like-
picture. I'm like, there's Chris's first guide.
How did things go? I was watching your video the other day. Fortunately, I wasn't in it because it was pouring down rain. Buddy.
Oh, it was a mess. You see that?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not fun.
Stay dry. Blind worked
My
well.
poor tail fan still, I don't know, that fan's probably ruined.
Oh, it was a ton of water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just blow dry it.
Just blow dry.
It hit us up at TAC. We were up at I'll call it the quarry, where they have like their road repair, their millings and stuff like that up in their big canvas. big canvas garages, and we were on
Just
that
sitting
mini
there
truck,
for-
just zooming back from setting targets up, and
Yeah, we're waist deep in the ferns, and Rob's like, "Come on,
let's go,
go."
lightning, let's get out of here. You know,
I could
went back.
imagine because Rob, who runs the Total Archery Challenge, has one of those mini trucks,
Mhm.
and there's like 9 of them in it. They probably look like the Taliban.
Just
And
no
that little
rifle on
mini
the back.
truck.
No, yeah, that hit us up there too.
Well, not
so I
only
can
were there
imagine.
people in the back, we still had targets in the back of it too. So
Wow.
the guys were nice enough to let me sit in the cab with Rob, but then it was targets and a bunch of
Yeah.
people piled on
I
together.
wish he would have been here today for the event. Rob couldn't make it because with Total Archery Challenge coming
Sure.
up this week,
Yeah.
he was swamped with
Yeah,
that.
the
but,
rain kicked us back a little bit
yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, so those guys were up there helping him, trying to get ready for
The
that.
truck, I mean, it's we'll get,
It's the coolest little thing.
yeah, it is.
I told him if I didn't love my Tacoma so much, I would just go trade it in and get one of
Listen,
those.
you do not want to ride on these highways here
No.
in PA in that
Well,
little mini truck.
I
No,
mean,
you don't.
honestly, for work, I travel 3 miles, so
They're
I'd
like
be fine.
sidewalks out here.
Exactly.
This is not a road.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not bad.
it's probably a fire
We got some
whistles.
sirens and
Oh,
probably
you know, I was
tornado
just,
coming in.
so that
No.
is that why you were thinking that? Because
Oh yeah, you live out in Iowa.
You guys-
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
yeah, so here in Pennsylvania, all the fire companies around at certain I don't know what.
Well, they're
what is
all
it?
volunteer.
Yeah,
so.
Right.
Yeah, so there's always whistles to let the volunteers know for
Yeah,
something
usually
going
that's
on.
a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the
He
look
looked
on
at
your
you.
face.
He's
yeah.
like, "Well, you don't have a basement in your house."
No, so I can't remember who I talked to first about. Oh, it was a guy from Ohio. Ohio, one state away, it's the same thing. If you hear that siren going off, I don't know if you guys listen.
like
yeah,
a
the
tornado
tornado they're not
warning.
listening. They're
Yeah,
not gonna
right.
hear it, but
Well, this has been a nut. We've had 3 tornadoes in Des
We've
Moines.
been getting a lot of tornadoes
Right.
here.
Yeah,
We
It-
need a tornado whistle now.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Tsunami. Maybe it's tsunami.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the last one missed the house by half a mile.
Right.
wow.
Wow.
I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, no, I
Holy
can't.
cow.
I start seeing that wicked witch teacher flying through in her bicycle. It's time to get to the
Pedaling in midair,
Mm.
running.
So
through.
what's the latest for Outdoor Call? What do you got going on with the radio show?
Radio. The station's been busy. I just got the kids from Grandview University on. Skippy was very gracious. I called him and I said, "Hey, I'm teaming up with these college kids. They got a shooting trap team, and now they're going to put archery in." And Skip goes, "Yeah, I'll help them out." And he was great about that. And Charlie and all the kids were excited about that. And I just got I got a couple of DNR ladies that are doing a show. They're going to be coming on in a couple weeks. Whenever Ken can figure out how to edit you out and get 20 episodes, we're going to run you guys. So the network's been really doing
I
well.
thought we were buddies.
We are buddies. This is our 3rd year. So it's slow, steady growth.
Yeah.
And I'm still on regular radio. So I hit 27 to 30 something thousand people a week on regular radio, and then so the app is it's a 24-hour, 7-day a week radio station where I got 17 different shows I'm running. I do 4 shows myself, and the weekends are the week after that we run the regular radio show on ESPN or on the Big 550. Andrew reruns that on weekends. But we got working class bow hunters. We got Fall Obsession down in Texas. Sam does a great job. Tuesdays, if you love to fish, Tuesdays all fishing. Jason Mitchell Outdoors. He's a professional walleye fisherman. We got Brad Chappell from the Crappie Connection. Those guys know more about crappie fishing than I'll ever remember. I just got a new show called Tackle Talk. It's a young man from Ohio, and he does a phenomenal job. That's been on for several weeks. I was doing a show called Hunting for X's with Darren Christenberry and Nathan Brooks, but since my relationship with TOG is done, I didn't want to ask him to keep doing it. So I did a few shows with some of Gearhead's
Field
staffers.
sales, yeah.
Yeah, Allie and
Adriana.
those 2 girls. I'm hoping Skip had talked to them for me too. I was so impressed with those 2 ladies that I said, "Listen, they got a TV show. It's
Called Grace Cam on Lace.
yeah, on the Sportsman
On
Channel.
Sportsman
Yeah,
Channel.
they do a phenomenal job. It's a great family show.
It is.
Cool.
Yeah. And I told them, I said, "Listen, can you please do a podcast? because you guys would be phenomenal on the network.
Yeah.
And I want more ladies on. I want to get
Mhm.
the female perspective out there. I've got nothing but admiration and respect for the women that are out there fishing and hunting.
Yeah.
It's such a good thing for the industry.
Sure is.
You know, Michelle Eichler, Michelle and I have been buddies. Muzzy was one of my first sponsors, along with Matthews and Muzzy. And it's love to see women out there kicking ass.
Yeah, I agree with you with that.
You know,
I'm excited to have Megan on board. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
she's
deep.
got so many things to overcome. Having you as a dad, you know, it's going to be nice to see her actually grow.
yeah. Her and Ken, not
No,
me.
she's done really well.
I love it. I'm just eating it up.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
I absolutely, since the second I've picked up my bow, I love shooting that thing. Today, when we were running our little competition for Total Archery Challenge with the recurve bows, after everybody kind of dissipated and nobody was watching because I didn't want to look silly, I picked it up and it felt pretty natural and nice. And I was like,
Yeah.
gosh, I might have to get one
I
of
love
these
it.
too.
Well,
And it keeps growing. Like I love it so much. When we were out there, just every part of it that I can be a part of, like going out and turkey hunting, even though we haven't seen a single turkey, like it's just being out there.
Well, we
And-
did, but he was on the field on the other
Yeah,
side of the highway.
70.
when we
that
were
doesn't
leaving.
count. Yeah, we were going home. Everybody, I'm sure, has seen a turkey going down the road at some point in Pennsylvania. It doesn't mean you're hunting it, but just doing that, like being out in the woods, I loved it. We went and I did my first 3D shoot and I absolutely loved it. Setting up tack yesterday, I was like, I need to figure out how to get a job with them because I was just like spent the whole day like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. So every part of the outdoors, I'm just in awe of.
yeah, skips help a lot of people. You know, that's one of the things I know you've always had a real strong passion about, getting them going and seeing them succeed. And, you know, I think that's one of the things that keeps you motivated.
Well, we all reach a point in our hunting that we actually get more enjoyment out of introducing new people and getting others in than we do ourselves. We actually are living through them, you know, like mentoring
Right.
young kids or,
Yes.
or ladies or just. I got a neighbor he actually relocated to Madison, Wisconsin from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
And he's in his 70s and he's never killed a turkey, but he's got an interest in killing a turkey. So next year my goal is to get Irv, he'll be close to 80 a turkey, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some great ladies out there. I'm so brain dead right now from fatigue and not seeing turkeys. Winchester,
Melissa Bachman.
Melissa Bachman, and she's been on the show 2 or 3 times.
She's probably one of the hardest working people
I'm
out
going to
there.
tell you right now,
Yeah, for
Skippy,
sure.
I've got nothing but total admiration and respect for her.
Yeah.
She does it right, and she works hard. That young lady has earned everything she's gotten, and I'm excited whenever she's on there. I look forward to the show because you can see the passion and the
Right.
joy, and taking her kids out with her, and she's a great role model.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
And she's doing all the production work behind that too.
yeah,
you know,
she's
it's
great
not
at
that
it.
she's just a face in front of a camera. She's doing that
No.
all.
No,
you
no,
know?
I tell her that all the time. She's she's a real deal, and she's such a great ambassador for the hunting industry.
Yeah, I've watched her growing up too. Just
Yeah.
those all those the outdoor channel, sportsman
She's a killer,
channel.
buddy. She's
Oh,
a
yeah.
killer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was a blast to watch.
Yeah, and we need. Listen, and I'm in the fall of my life or career because I just turned 60. So I was talking to Melissa and Adrian and
Allie, Adriana.
thank you. Those young ladies and with you guys, and that's one of the things I'm excited about the Outdoor Call Radio because it gives me a chance to give people a platform outside of where everybody else is trying to make a niche. And it lets me talk about it on regular radio, drive people there to listen and to get some traction and to pass the torch. To me, that's something I'm very proud of.
Right.
You
As
know,
you should
As you
be.
should be, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, Dan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's, the same thing here with me, with having the shop and, doing the filming before and getting out of it. When these two, approached me about wanting to get into the industry in one way, shape, or form, the
Yeah.
podcast just seemed like the right thing to do. And
Well, same thing with
Yeah.
Matt and Rob.
yeah,
I
right.
told, listen, I'll help you.
Yeah.
We need as many outdoor communicators out there because it shouldn't be about ego.
No.
It should be
100%.
about experiences, education, camaraderie, and fun.
Yes, I agree 100%. And there's always something to learn. I don't care how old you are, how young you
Yeah,
are.
we
There's
talked
always
about
something
that
to learn
Friday
out
night
there.
with Larry and the guys. It's like, I've been doing it since I was 12. I'm 35. I'm still learning stuff.
Yeah.
We're
that's-
learning stuff. You go to new places, you're learning stuff just even at the new place. Like when
Yeah.
we're going to Illinois.
Yeah. I learned something today about draw stops and you shooting off cables.
Yeah.
The cable
Yeah.
stops. It's
That's
like,
right.
oh my gosh, Skip.
There you go.
Why haven't I been doing that for the last 2 months? That's amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Happy Dan, happy life.
Oh, I'm happy. That's at least 2 less phone calls.
Probably.
that you're going to take. Yeah. So you took your limb stops,
Draw stops.
your draw stops off
Yeah.
that catch the limb.
So basically on the bow, there's 2 different options for your let off. You got a string stop and a limb stop.
Mm-hmm.
So your limb stop, it gives you a really solid back wall, just like a rock. And then the string stop, it actually gives you a little bit of movement with the pressure on the string. Well, Dan liked that feel better.
I'm an old finger shooter.
Yeah.
So
So-
that's the feel I started
So
with.
we just took the
Yeah.
limb stops off and let him have that string stop.
Well,
Yeah.
you shot it.
Yeah.
It was
No, it felt good.
comfortable.
yeah,
Yeah.
it felt good. Like you were saying, it increases the let off.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's,
then
it's
you-
maximum let off. You're pushing probably 90% let off on
and,
it.
and it gives you a little bit, not necessarily an overdraw, but you've got that let off kind of just lets you.
It lets you
Sit and
you
relax.
relax and aim,
Mhm.
Right.
which is so important. You don't want to snap shoot or punch your release. You want to aim. And listen, folks, if you're struggling as you get older, your shoulders are getting fatigued, don't be afraid to, Skippy, I mean, I've told you, I migrated down, once again, down to mid-50s. A 50-pound bow will kill anything in North America.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have an issue.
There's a lot of people shooting 35, 40s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure. I mean, here in the state of PA, 35, I think, is
Yeah.
all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need all that poundage with the way these bows are engineered now. You're going to get pass-throughs.
Well, it's better to shoot lesser weight and be comfortable and shoot it accurately than to shoot something overweighted and struggle and make bad shots.
What's the
Right.
number one, according to bow hunting professionals and analytics, what's the number one reason people get busted bow hunting? Shooting a bow that's too much draw weight for them.
Sure.
Struggling to the deer pick up the movement.
right to draw it back?
That busts people more than anything else in the timber.
And then
Yeah.
holding draw,
Yeah.
holding at full draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when we were out in Illinois, I had a 70-pound bow. I was at full draw for a while, didn't get a shot, and I was like, "Whoa," And it was cold that year we were out there. We were hunting in the teens.
Yeah.
I was at 70. I'm like, I'm going down to 65, and it made a world of a difference, even just in the draw cycle of a
Right.
bow.
Sure does.
Well,
Yeah.
and if you're ground blind hunting too, you want to be able to pick your bow and point it down at the ground, draw, and then come up. That way, when if you're turkey hunting or deer hunting, when you hit that window, you're going to be ready to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to stick your bow hand out or stick it up in the air to struggle to draw that back, you're giving
Way
away
too much movement.
Yeah.
Way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be a solid, smooth draw. Come up, anchor, aim, over.
Yeah.
How was
I-
that again? Was it?
Yeah, because my bow's so quiet.
Oh,
Oh, he's sucking up now, Skip.
I know. I know. He must want something.
Yeah, guaranteed. Well, that's what I said to you outside when you were loading up the stuff he was handing you. I said, "Oh, Dan's he's
Yeah.
buttering you up for something."
Me?
Yeah.
Not me.
I think he wants the Danny Young signature bow. The gear.
I've been bugging him. I got a bow design I
Uh.
want him to do, and he said he's see. That's another thing too. If you got an idea, he'll listen to you. But next year,
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, he'll listen to you, but
I didn't say that.
He's
and
not
I'll
doing
tell
it.
you later. I don't want this on the air, but I came up with an idea for a broadhead
Did you?
yesterday when I was watching the rain pour down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I had
and
an epiphany.
probably 300 other people. I think there's
This
so many
is gonna-
different broadheads.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, but this is something I'm just telling you.
It's going to be the next big thing.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll buy one.
Skip, in 20 years, how many times have you heard this from him?
Not a lot.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what he's got.
Okay.
Yeah. Good thing you're riding in different trucks back home.
That's
Well, he's going to Wisconsin. I'm going to Iowa, so we split ways there.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably around.
He'll be on 80. I'll be on 70.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we got to let you guys get to bed here pretty soon, huh?
Yep. Thanks to my good friend, I'll be sleeping on the concrete floor in my sleeping bag because somebody told me not to bring my cot. Don't you bring a cot? I'll get you a cot. It's okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a bullshit bet.
Thank you. Thank you.
I told him
Yeah.
earlier, I said, you can make him a better bet out of these targets.
Yeah,
in hay bale than what you're
a
about
good
to
friend would, at least go buy me a cot now because I could have brought my tent cot.
do. We could have brought you our air mattress. if I
Well,
knew that's what he
there you
was
go.
up
See,
to.
once again, Closed Eyes Outfitters exceeds expectations.
I don't know what to say.
Speechless.
I'm
Are you
speechless.
talking about the benches? Cool.
I've slept on them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you put them together. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
I did try to find your cot today. I couldn't find you.
Go 15 minutes over to the Busy Beaver and find a cot. You didn't look too hard.
An air mattress, for God's sakes.
I don't know. How wide's that one skip
No.
pass?
Absolutely. You know what? I think if I left now, I could be home by
Yeah.
5 in the morning.
Yeah, he was almost out the door at 2:30 today. I
Like-
could be home and I said, "You're not driving. You've had a long week. You just stay here and keep me company."
Relax,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
I
not.
told you I'll be looking forward to the videos that are going to come out after I leave the shop tonight and leave you here.
I'm going to sleep. I'm tired.
Yeah.
We'll be doing live giveaways.
Yeah.
We'll be doing something. Creek Archery certificates or something. I'll figure something out.
We'll be filling out gift cards.
Yeah.
Passing out gift
I'm
cards.
sure he will.
Oh.
Where'd you
Well-
get this gift card? I got it from Dan Young, Outdoor Call Radio app.
Yeah.
He was giving away gift cards for.
Might actually hide some stuff somewhere, and we'll do a treasure hunt.
Oh,
I'll give out hints every other day.
On the episode.
Yeah, hey guys, it's Outdoors Dan. If you go to Creek Archery, here's your hint for the day.
Oh, I can imagine. I'm going to have people all over the place looking for stuff.
Little treasure hunt. Yeah.
Well, before we get out of here, Ken always likes
Yep.
to ask the guest one
Yes.
question.
I asked both guests, what is your dream hunt, Dan?
Probably moose. I went up to Alberta 2 years ago, and I got close. I was trying to self-film. What's that stuff called? Muckluck? Or
Could be.
Yeah, that stuff's like it's like walking on sponges, man. It's horrible. I couldn't move. I had a couple moose that came in, and I just my buddy who I went with, he goes, "Come on." I go, "I can't."
You got trained for that, Dan.
Yeah. Well, no, I couldn't move because I had to take the camera and everything else, and there was no way for me to do that and try to shoot the moose with a bow. If I was just hunting, I would have killed a moose.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get the show done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that I there's just something special about that animal that I'm hoping. I think I'm going to go to Newfoundland. I think it's Newfoundland with Mark Wagner.
Mark Wagner for a moose.
Yeah, I think we're going to go in not this year, but next year. I think I'm going to try and go out there and get one.
They're so
Nice.
big, too. I have relatives up in Maine,
Yeah.
and we drove past one a while back. We went up there for one of my cousin's wedding up there. And you drive past one in a rental car, and it's like
Yeah.
close to them. I mean, their heads, they can't fit their heads through that window.
Yeah, I got 2 elk. I've been 10, 11 times, and I've shot 2 with a bow.
Mhm.
And the last one with Paul actually filmed for Respect the Game.
Mhm.
Him and his brother Ty and our buddy Travis was right there, and I shot a 278.
Nice.
Well, and listen,
That's a good one.
it was a world record
Yeah.
to me.
I think
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
Heck
you
yeah.
cried.
I did cry.
Yeah, I think I saw.
I actually I did.
Yeah.
My dad and my dad passed away. I was on the air probably 7 months before he died, and he would go around to that's my Hunter Dan. That's my son.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just looked up and I said, "That's for you, Pop."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
yeah.
I was wondering if you were going to say, we were re-listening to your working class episode when we were driving on vacation and you were talking about decapping an ostrich.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, I wonder
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right.
That would be a fun hunt.
Decap and ostrich.
And ostrich is good eating. I don't shoot anything unless I'm going to eat it, but I think that would be a hell of a hunt. Trying
Yeah.
to decap one.
That'd need to be a hell of a broadhead, too.
Yeah.
It would.
Well, this new one might do it.
there we go.
Is
Yeah,
that the one
geez.
we're going to produce?
That's the one we're going to make out. Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
What
so,
about you?
So it got to be a bow hunt or a gun hunt? Or you can
Whatever.
Whatever.
You want.
Okay, so I would probably go back to Ireland.
Okay.
So my mother immigrated here from Ireland.
Oh, okay.
And as a young boy, I always asked her, I said, Mama, what can we hunt in Ireland? And she said, oh, Skippy, there's no hunting in Ireland. The Protestants kill the Catholics and the Catholics kill the Protestants. So I lived with that my whole life. I was like, there's nothing to hunt in Ireland. Well, then Aer Lingus sent us a email with super cheap round airfare. It was like $450 for a round trip. So my wife and I planned a trip to Ireland, and she's a marathoner, so she found a marathon to run in Galway. So she ran the Galway Marathon. Well, then I'm Google searching, what can I hunt in Ireland? What can I hunt from Ireland? And I found a hunt in the Wicklow Mountains. And so we went over there, and it was like that property had been in their family for like 8 generations. It went back to like 1600 type stuff. And it was an amazing hunt. And I ended up shooting a Sitka stag. And I'd like to go back for a red deer.
Cool.
Nice.
You know, like it's all free range. There's nothing, no high fences or anything like that. But just being over there, I developed so many friendships with people that live there. They're like, Skip, come back to Northern Ireland. We got some red stags and stuff. So there's lots of good opportunities over there. I'd like to get back to.
That roar they make is
Yeah.
just, you can't.
Yeah.
That's a neat animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
You expect, you see them to get ready, and you're expecting an elk call or something,
Right,
something
right,
close
right.
to an elk. Nope. Not even close.
Yeah.
that's pretty neat.
They
Yeah.
are.
So like the hunt I was on, you could shoot 2 Sitkas and a red stag. We never found any red stag, but I shot the Sitka, and then we were driving around, and the guide found another Sitka, and he goes, well, there you could shoot. I'm like, I got one. That's
Yeah.
enough, you know.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Cool.
Well, guys,
Those are good.
I know it's getting late. We need to let you get some rest because you're going to be
Yeah.
up early in the morning. I will bring you your breakfast sandwich and your
Glad-
coffee in the morning.
Glad to hear that. I'll be
here. I got to make it up to you because you're going
You
to
got to give
sleep
them a
on the floor.
massage, too, from sleeping on the floor.
I'll be probably in my truck.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No, we got to you got to try the benches. I'm telling you, it's great.
Now, see, we went from 2 sofas to now benches.
They're sofas. But
That is
they're
not
benches.
a sofa.
They can be.
Okay.
If you
Well-
ask somebody to explain a sofa, they're not explaining that.
Come on, you're supposed to stick up for me here. I
No,
forgot
not-
you two
not
are on.
there.
You two are riding
not
in
gonna
on the Dan
mislead
train
him.
there, not me.
It's all right. This episode has been brought to you by the fine folks at Closed Eyes Outfitters. Don't worry about it. Your sack lunch will be provided. We'll have your tags, and we'll make sure that you get as much rest as you need to fulfill your fantasy hunt. Come on out, hunt Pennsylvania, Creek Archery, Closed Eyes Outfitters. Once you come back, you'll be here for life.
You'll be well rested.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow, I don't think I can beat that.
Yeah.
He's been
He's thought that out.
that's been going through his mind for a while.
We could clip that and just run it.
Oh, yeah.
This could come real. You really could have. I mean,
Yeah,
you,
we got
you got the
something.
ad.
Yeah, I first thing I'm going to do is get the broadhead sponsor that
Yeah.
Skip's going to make.
Yeah.
That's funny. So where can everybody find you, Dan? I know we've talked about it before. but-
Yep. Best thing to do is look up the Outdoor Call Radio Facebook page or Dan Young, or they can also go to the website, which is theoutdoorcallradio.com, and you can find my email and all my media stuff right there.
Awesome.
I'll throw a plug in YouTube and our episode down below. Take you to Dan's site.
Oh,
Find everything on Dan's site.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Skip,
Absolutely.
Oh, www.gearheadarchery.com. And if you want to, think about a gearhead and you're right here in Pennsylvania, just come to a Creek Archery. And,
yeah, we will have some
and,
down
and
here.
we can make it work for you. If you come to Madison, just stop at the factory, 6540 Ronald Reagan Avenue.
Bigfoot's there to greet you.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you've got a segment about
Oh,
Sasquatch,
geez,
right?
don't get them started. Don't.
We got Dan here.
Well,
We
no,
got
that's a show. It's called The Unknown Files.
the Unknown Files.
Yeah, I tried whooping a couple times and tree knocking. Nothing ever answered.
No.
Because they're not going to.
Yeah. I did get one response going, "It's not here. It's over in Yukon."
At Creek Archery.
Closed Eyes Outfitters. Believe it. It's real.
Well, thank you for having us out here. I mean, I really appreciate the invite.
Guys,
and
thank
it's
you.
really-
I mean, really.
I
We
think it was a
Appreciate
good
the
event
travels.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I truly appreciate, because I know for both of you guys, you're very busy. And, for you to take the time to spend the whole day here with us and evening. And It's been awesome. We
Anytime
really
I can
appreciate
see
it.
the old ass squatch Rupert, and that's my nickname for him.
Oh.
Yeah, and I spend time with that beautiful man over there.
Stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah, and that gives me 13 hours of fantasy football time to catch up on the truck ride home.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah, got to put a whooping on Creek Archery this year.
Well, it's not going to happen, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be in last place again.
Who's your go-to player this year, Dan?
I can't say because his son-in-law will listen, and he's already, and, they're in cahoots.
All right.
I can already tell. And then they make these little communist trades. They'll do one player for 6.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm the commissioner. I go, I can't let that go. Yeah. Hey, Jake, I am your father-in-law. Help me out, will you? Help Dad out, will you? Yeah. I saw through that last year.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Didn't help me much because I still lost.
He stuck it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, guys, we're going to let you get some sleep here
Yeah.
now, and I know you'll be up early and head out, but truly, thank you.
Yeah,
Skip,
thank you.
looking forward to working with you on
Yeah.
some
Awesome.
projects here. Dan, you as well, thank you for being with us on here, and once they can edit me out, I'm looking forward to them
I
being
am
on
too.
the outdoor
It's going to
call.
be good content once we get you off there.
Yeah, these mosquitoes are.
Yeah.
We got the
That's
doors
from
open
The doors
tonight.
open all day.
We
yeah.
got the big creek out back running.
Yeah,
They tend to creep in once in a
Yes,
while.
they do. So,
Yeah.
well, hey, everybody out there, thank you for listening. Thank
Yes.
you for watching. We appreciate all of you listeners and
Mhm.
watchers. I mean, that means a lot. That's what keeps us going. That's what
Absolutely.
keeps us getting these guys in here and bringing you
Yeah.
content. So, thank you.
Yep.
And we will have these guys back again another time.
Okay.
You guys, safe trip, safe travels tomorrow on your way home.
Yep.
And we'll talk
Drive
soon.
safe.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Thanks
thank you.
again. Thanks, Dan. Thanks,
Adios.
Skip.
All right, guys.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care.
Mhm.
We'll see you.
Yep. Bye.
As Def Leppard would say.
Take care, everyone.